wanna be with you. Hey, I wanna be with you. I wanna be with you. Hey, I wanna be with you. I wanna be with you. Just love me. If I didn't ride blade on curve, would you still? If I'm in my mind at work, would you still? Keep it 100, I'd rather you trust me than to. Keep it a whole 100, don't got you, I got nothing. I got something. Hold up, we gon' function. No assumption. Feeling like Tyson with it. Got out Tyson with it. Only for the night, I'm kidding. Only for life, yeah, only for life, yeah, only for life. Let's get it. Hit that shoulder, I know what coming over me. Backstroke overseas. I know what you need. Already on 10, all money come in. All feeling go out. This feeling don't drought. This party won't end. If I didn't ride blade on pearl, would you still? If I'm in my mind at work, would you still? Keep it 100, I'd rather you trust me than to. Keep it a whole 100, don't got you, I got nothing. Run for my money. There was nobody, no one that'll run me. So give me a run for my money. Sipping bubbly, feeling lovely. Living lovely. I wanna be with you. 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 I'm on the way. We ain't got no time to waste. Hop in your come on the way. Am I in the way? I don't want pressure you none. I want your blessing today. Oh, by the way, open the door by the way. Show you that I'm on the way. I'm on the way. I know connection is vague. Pick up the phone for me, babe.
Yeah. What is up? And what's going on this late evening on this fine Planet Fanatic stream? We appreciate the ones that are here, the ones that are watching, the ones that are going to be showing up. It's not the normal time that I normally stream, but I think I might be going back to this time. Maybe. I'm not sure. I might be going back to the evening time instead of streaming in the morning time. I feel like I got a lot more done today, starting my day the way I did today, and then now doing the stream. So I think I may move the stream to the evenings. So we're going to see how this works out today. I do have some good things to talk about, some fun things that we'll get into. I know everybody's favorite topic, or one of everybody's favorite topics over here, is the state of DCU. We're going to talk about that because the Lantern showrunner has addressed not only my concern about it looking like Yellowstone, but others' concerns about it looking less than Lanterny. We're also going to talk about Dave Filoni and show what he had to say at the Star Wars Lucasfilm. Rather, invited some people out. If you were one of the special few that got to go out and see a special screening with Dave Filoni and Sam Witwer and some others from Lucasfilm, they showed the final 2 episodes to a crowd, and we're going to see what Dave had to say about Vader to the crowd, because again, amazing episodes, peak episodes, up there with some of the greatest stuff that Star Wars has ever done. We're also going to discuss, I don't know if everybody has seen this and how big of fans of sports everyone is, but if everybody has seen Austin Rivers and Draymond Green's back and forth over the past 48 to 72 hours, we're going to get into that a little bit as well. And lastly, we'll talk about the Planet of the Apes. I love Planet of the Apes, and we just got confirmation from Deadline about the sequel to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So we'll talk about all of those things and get into it all. So first thing we'll talk about, though, is just going to be, well, first, actually, let me go ahead and address everybody. I appreciate you, Lawrence. Appreciate you, Johnny and Xavier, the ones that are in the chat. Appreciate the ones that are watching, not in the chat. Appreciate you guys being here and hanging out. Lawrence said, yo. Johnny said, nightcap. Yeah, like I said, I think I might start doing this at nights, the evenings from now on. Yeah, I got the notification on my phone as well. Lawrence, Xavier, appreciate it. What is going on? Lawrence says it works because it's if there is more stuff that, yeah, that's true. If there's more stuff that comes out, you got more stuff to cover. That is very true, because one of the biggest things about news or streaming in the mornings is trying to just catch news. Is there enough to go over during the stream or talk about? Yeah, so that is very, very, very true. So, but let's get into what's going on. Lawrence also asked, did you see what's Hollywood Reporter said Michael is on track for 1 billion? I didn't. Let me pull that article. I can actually, let's see. Oops. To 1 bill. The Hollywood Reporter. Let's actually see that. Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to find it. Let's see. What was the last thing they said about this thing? If you have that, if you have an article on it, send it to me, and I will go over that because I actually want to. So send that to me. Don't see the Hollywood Reporter one, but I see the Rolling Stone one. Oh, Rolling Stone. Okay, let me do Rolling Stone. Hold on. The Rolling Stone. Let's see. The one from 6 hours ago about the streaming numbers. Is that the one you're talking about, Lawrence? The one that says Michael Jackson hits record streaming numbers thanks to wild success of biopic. Johnny said, also, Michael Jackson's number one artist in the world, and the Jackson 5 music from the 60s and 70s streaming numbers went over 500. Insane. Yes, I have seen all of that as well. Yeah, like I said, it's great. It's great to see the stuff going on for Mike. Anyway, it says Michael Jackson hits record streaming numbers thanks to wild success of biopic, despite overwhelming negative reviews and bitter blowback. Yeah, bitter slamming, trying to defame, all that kind of stuff. Blowback over the decision to not even hint at the child sexual abuse allegations that plagued his later years. The Michael Jackson biopic Michael is an enormous box office smash that's creating a massive upswing of interest in his music catalog on streaming services. According to the Billboard, Jackson's solo work registered a career best of 137.5 million official on-demand streams for the week of April 24th through the 30th in the United States. That's up to 146% from his previous career high. He also hit 55.9 million song clicks in the same week prior to this. His best was 53.7 million clicks during Halloween week in 2019, thanks largely to Thriller, popping up in the playlist that time of year. And it says the groundswell of interest isn't just limited to Jackson's solo work. The music he made with his brothers, the Jackson 5, and later the Jacksons throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s generated 10.1 million streams throughout the week, up 135% from the prior week, and they had 4.9 million clicks, up 57% from the week before. Because of this, Thriller is now the number 7 album on the Billboard 200. Jackson's hit compilation number one. Completion number one. And then it says, where does it say about the biopic? Michael is expected to gross upwards. Let's start there again. Michael is expected to gross upwards of 1 billion at the global box office. The movie ends with the words, "The story continues," strongly implying a second chapter. If that happens, expect latter day tracks like Black or White, Remember the Time, Will You Be There, and Scream to re-enter the charts as well. We might even catch a glimpse of Janet in that one, doubt it. In the first movie, she was erased from history per her own request. So, yeah. But seeing that we've got Rolling Stone and some of these other credible trades tracking these numbers, and numbers don't lie, but even before Rolling Stone was tracking these numbers and things like that, I agree with some of the things I've seen. You are Delulu if you ever thought that this thing was not going to hit $1 billion. So it's on track. Where is it currently at? Let me see where it's currently sitting at Box Office Mojo. Let me see. Currently, Michael is sitting at 439 million worldwide on Monday. That was the last time I streamed. Monday it was at 430 million worldwide. So yesterday it was at 430 million worldwide. And so yeah, it's doing what we expected Michael to do. It's getting numbers. People are going to see it over and over and over again. I mean, I've seen all the things about the music. I have been one of the ones contributing to that music. I've been playing Michael nonstop. I mean, there's the stuff that I've been seeing people say that, you know, their children are watching videos for the first time, or there are people that are bringing out, you know, old records, or people that are watching documentaries. I mean, Michael's everywhere. He's everywhere. And I love it. I love it. I think he is deserving of it. I hate that he is not here to see it. But yeah, this is what Michael does. So again, not shocked. Jafar did recently say, I think we watched that, or we talked about that. Maybe we talked about it, but he did recently say that the thing that he's looking forward to doing the most in the sequel is Smooth Criminal. He said that was a video that he loved growing up. It's one of my favorite, if not one of my, it is my favorite video of Mike's. So yeah, Smooth Criminal, another part of me. The Bad Tour, we've seen some of the glimpses of the behind the scenes stuff from that. So it looks like they're diving into the, you know, the Bad Tour, the Dangerous Era, all that stuff. So we'll get into all of that. And then of course the critics will get what they weirdly are hungry for, and that is the sex allegations. So they'll get to see that from Mike's perspective, or, you know, what the estate has told them. So from Mike's perspective, but yeah, yes, it is great to see. It is on track to hitting that billion. I believe it still has not opened in South Korea or Japan, right? So we're still waiting on it to open there, and then that from there, I believe, of course, with the repeat views and people that still have not seen it yet, that will boost it to where it is going to hit that billion. So yeah, Michael, love to see it. Love to see it. Xavier said, I love that his music is back into the streams doing what I knew MJ would do. Exactly. Lauren said, Jafar getting a lot of love too. I saw some TikToks where he was singing and taking pics. Yeah, Jafar is getting a lot of love. I saw that he also said that he never thought about acting, but now he's thinking about maybe pursuing it more. I think that maybe that is possible for him to do. You know, I know he doesn't want to just, I saw somebody say he could play Tiger Woods. I'm sure he doesn't want to just do biopics. I'm sure he actually wants to, if he's going to act, get into some things. But yeah, I've also seen the videos of people comparing his, but all the Jacksons have a lot of the same mannerisms, but his mannerisms to Michael's, and they really do look a lot alike, as if he really could be Mike's kid over Jermaine's kid, and a lot of stuff. So yeah, I love seeing all the stuff for it. Really do. Johnny said, you see Gen Z on TikTok saying Pepsi is the ops now that almost killed Michael Jackson. It's so funny watching so many of the younger generation discover Mike and then go down this whole rabbit hole and events in his life and things like that. It's, again, I don't know that another artist really has that. I know not another artist has that aura, has that ability to do that. TKO said, has Chill issued apologies for Michael movie yet? Not as of yet. But you know, again, as I keep saying, as I said to Chill on Thursday, my thing was never the splits or the international. My thing was the doubting the ability of Michael Jackson. That was my thing from the very beginning. I said that Michael's going to hit $1 billion. There was some, I don't know, supremacy, racism. Yeah, Michael Jackson just doesn't. Those things repel away from him. So it's not something that you ever have to worry about with Michael Jackson. I'm not saying that there aren't people that are racist toward Mike. I'm sure there are people that are racist toward Mike, but by and large, does that affect Michael Jackson as a whole? No, it doesn't. So I was never worried about any of those things when it came to the film. I was never worried about, anything really when it came to the film. I knew people were going to go and see it just simply because it's Michael Jackson. So, but no, an apology hasn't been issued yet. And I don't really need the apology yet to be issued until it hits the billion, because that was my thing. My thing is that it's going to hit $1 billion, and I stand by that. It's going to hit $1 billion. I just want them, and when I say them, I mean everybody that doubted Michael, sit in it. Just enjoy it, marvel at it. I know it can be confusing, the Michael effect. I know if you don't understand Michael, or you didn't really grow up on Mike, or you've never really studied Mike, you just know Mike through the pop culture zeitgeist. You know Mike through, oh, that's the guy that sings Thriller, or oh, that's the guy that sings Beat It. That's the guy that did the moonwalk. That's the guy that had the, all the weird tabloids about him. That's the guy with the sex allegation. You know him through the pop culture zeitgeist, but you don't know him. You don't know him. To know Michael is to know to never bet against Michael. To know Michael is to know to never say something as silly as Michael Jackson's biopic can't reach $1 billion. So I know it can be confusing. I know for those out there that don't follow Michael, it can be confusing. You're probably sitting in the confusion right now, wondering why, how has he been gone so long, and how is all this happening? I understand. But Michael is Michael, and I hope once it does hit that $1 billion, those that doubted Michael will understand, and won't doubt that ability for the second film either. So, yeah. Let's see what else was said. Xavier said, and once it crosses that Billy, it's gonna be crickets for those critics. Oh yeah. Lauren said, I'm going to see it again or with a list after I see Mortal Kombat tomorrow. Nice. Go see it again. He said, might see Michael Saturday morning. Right. It's water wet. Xavier said, I've seen it twice and may go back again this weekend. Yeah, I've seen it twice so far. What's up, Profess? Appreciate you being here. Torian, appreciate it. Torian also said Taj Jackson has been cooking those. He has been. I have seen him going at him. Those naysayers on Twitter since before and after the movie came out. Yes, he has. Indeed, he has. Okay, now let's move over to what seems to be a favorite topic. It's a favorite topic that a lot of y'all like to combat me on. But I'm not the only one. This seems to be an issue that a lot of other people have brought up too, wondering why does lanterns look like not lanterns? I've used the example Yellowstone, and I'm going to stick with that because that's what it looks like to me. It looks like Yellowstone. You throw Helen Mirren in there, you throw Kevin Costner in there, and you got yourself a regular old episode of Yellowstone, because that's what it looks like. Now, again, I have not seen it, and I know that's everybody's thing. Well, Darius, you're judging it off the trailer. That's literally why they gave it to us, to judge it off the trailer. Judge the trailer, and then from there, form an opinion. And of course, we have not seen the show, but maybe when the show comes out, my opinion will change. But again, I'm not the only one with this opinion, because it has been so much of an opinion on so many different people's minds that the showrunner of the show, Lanterns, had to come out and address the backlash amid the continued, is what the headline says. Lantern showrunner explains HBO's grounded approach to Green Lanterns amid continued fan backlash. So for the people, and I don't want to say people, I forget the dude's name, and I don't really, not that it's not that I forget his name, because I never knew it to begin with. I just saw the comment. He seems to only comment, I don't know if you're watching or if you're going to watch this in a replay, you seem to only comment when I address something negative about DC. So again, as I told you before, I love DC. So I'm always going to address negative things about DC, Marvel, Star Wars, or whatever when they're doing shit that I find to be silly. Regardless of if you find it silly or not, if I find it to be silly, I'm going to address it. And again, I find this Green Lanterns Yellowstone Western approach to be quite silly. But again, I'm not the only one. So this is an issue going on out there, and this is what it says coming from comicbookmovie.com. DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn earned widespread acclaim for his work in the MCU, but he's quickly discovering that running a studio is a lot more challenging than writing and directing a movie. Despite taking charge of the DCU alongside Peter Safran, Gunn specifically has faced an increased level of scrutiny from fans. That's definitely the case with projects he's not behind. That's definitely the case with projects he's not behind the camera for, and he's recently had to contend with the noticeable level of negativity amid both Supergirl and Lanterns. And I've said before, I don't really care, about, you calling me a hater or calling me that I saying I don't know what I'm talking about or whatever. I don't know film or judging or whatever the comments may be. Supergirl doesn't look good to me, and Lanterns doesn't look good to me. Take that how you want it. I don't think anything that DC is currently shitting out looks good. I have not seen Man of Tomorrow, but I loved the first Superman film, so I expect I'm going to love Man of Tomorrow. I assume I'm going to love Man of Tomorrow. But Clayface, keep it. For those of you that want to see it, great. Go watch it. It's for you. Go watch it. Again, I heard that the Daredevil finale was great, and that's among the 50% less viewership that it was getting prior to this season. I'm sorry, the 50% viewership it was getting this season prior to last season. And just because I haven't watched it doesn't mean in the viewership is bad. You still got people out there that are saying that it's good. So you're still going to have your people that are going to go see Clayface and they're going to like Clayface. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of the people that's interested in seeing Clayface. I'm not interested in seeing Supergirl either. I'm not. And Lanterns. Now, am I going to watch Supergirl? Probably. Am I going to go to the theater to see Clayface? I don't know. I'm going to pick and just like Mando and Grogu, I'm going to pick and choose where I'm spending upwards of $50 on an IMAX ticket, an IMAX theater experience, rather, not just the ticket, but the theater experience in IMAX. I'm going to pick and choose what I choose to spend my money on and for that movie experience. And right now, Clayface isn't one of them. Mando Grogu's not one of them. Supergirl is hanging on by a thread of not being one of them. And Lanterns is at home. So of course I'll watch Lanterns. But again, if I sniff that it's not good for me, then I'm just not. And that's fine for me. That's fine for me. You can enjoy it. Goes on to say, the former originally billed as an adaptation of the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic book seems to have little in common with the source material, particularly in terms of visuals, which is crazy because he put the book out and they said to read the comic. That was one of the whole things. People were driving the sales up in Woman of Tomorrow when they put it on shelves because it was tying into the film and things like that, so it's crazy that I guess, and again, I'm not seeing it. I'm going off what this article says. Apparently the source material or the film has very little to do with the source material. Lanterns, meanwhile, has been heavily criticized by fans and creatives alike, largely because it's grounded, and Green Lantern, of course, is a series that has more in common with the True Detective than, say, Star Wars. In fairness, it was always described as being in that vein, which is true. In fairness, that is true. But it seems many fans still didn't anticipate the show being more about two regular guys with one ring between them wandering around the American heartland than an action-packed CGI-heavy adventure. In a new interview, Lantern showrunner Chris Mundy was asked whether making the series more in line with HBO's typical fare than a superhero TV series was a challenge. And he goes on to say, it was less challenging than it was exciting. Our take was that we have this incredibly rich mythology within the Green Lantern's canon, and we have this incredibly rich history of Sunday night HBO shows, everything from The Sopranos to Game of Thrones and in between. The fun of it was trying to create a real layered drama that dealt with who these characters are as human beings, while still staying true to the spirit of what makes the comics so special. He continued, we wanted to be accessible for anyone. We wanted it to be accessible for anyone who doesn't know the canon, but at the same time satisfying for people who know the lore in a minute detail. then he goes on to say, so yes, it was challenging, but only in the way of the most fun things are. Despite the current negative buzz, a second trailer with the classic comic book imagery could completely change the narrative. Plus, regardless of whether Lanterns exceeds expectations or disappoints fans, Jon Stewart will return in Man of Tomorrow, which is true, where he's likely to be portrayed in a manner that's far more in line with what's on the page. Now, I completely believe that because that's Gunn doing that, and we saw that with Guy Gardner. We saw Guy Gardner doing crazy things with the ring. We saw Guy Gardner, being a part of the Green Lantern, being a Green Lantern. So, again, am I going to watch the show? Of course, I'm going to watch the show. If it's not what I'm wanting it to be, then I'll probably check out. Also, the toy leaks for McFarlane, the action figure toy leaks did leak. So we do know that some of the alien members of the Lanterns Corps are supposedly going to show up. Now, is that my issue? I don't have an issue with that because that's what I want. I'm like, yes, that's what I want. That let's get more cosmic with the Lanterns. But my issue with that is it going to be like, not, I know it won't be silhouettes, but is it going to be in the way that maybe before the silhouette change in Peacemaker, when it was the original Justice League, the DCEU Justice League? Is it going to be something like that where they show up at the end of the show and it's like, oh, yeah, there's more of us, hey, and then we cut to credits? I know they're not going to be involved in the overall what's going on with Hal and John, so it has to be more of a kind of like a name drop, like he did with Chip. It's gonna probably be something like that, where not so much of a name drop, but they're going to drop in like that, then simply pop out. So again, back in the day, for me, that was dope. You could have got me with that. I'd have been like, oh shit, that was really cool. Popped in, popped out. I mean, think of kind of the way Doctor Strange showed up in Thor Ragnarok. But that was a little different. That made sense. So we'll, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen with Lanterns. But the backlash is, again, not just coming from my end. The backlash is coming from other fans as well. For the people that are looking forward to Lanterns and don't have a problem with it being grounded, then that is fantastic. Again, for me, I'm over the grounded stuff. I'm over my take on the heroes, and I'm over this just the slow burn of getting through 6 to 8 to maybe 10 episodes, and then finally we're getting some stuff done or getting some stuff going. Again, I haven't seen the show, but it does come out, I think. When does this come out? I think it should probably say at the bottom. Yeah, August. Comes out in August. Lanterns are set to premiere on HBO Max in August. So yeah, we'll see. Let's see what you guys are saying. Profess said, I wish Daredevil would get back to Netflix. DD this season was fire. I don't care about the viewership. It was great. I've heard that. I've heard that people really, the people that did watch it really loved it. Also, Luke Cage is, see, that stuff, that's all the stuff I needed to know. I don't need to watch it. I know Luke Cage is back. Cool. I know how the show ended. Cool. And I'm pretty sure, like everybody else, we know where they're picking up in season 3. Elektra's, I'm assuming, going to be in season 3. The actress that played Elektra in the Netflix series was spotted on site where they are filming season 3. There's speculation from people that they may be laying groundwork for the Dark Avengers, or that Bullseye may join the Thunderbolts. I would like the Dark Avengers route more than him joining the Thunderbolts. I was really into him joining the Thunderbolts at first, but if you're going to do the Dark Avengers and it's not the Thunderbolts, but I think that they're probably going to change the Thunderbolts to the Dark Avengers. So likely he's just going to be on that version of whatever the MCU version of the Dark Avengers is going to be. I'm paying attention to the things that are going on with it. He's wasting the finale. I'm watching everything DC, good or bad. Xavier said, code for we aimed this at the normies and to keep it budget friendly. Yeah, I can. Yeah. See, I wasn't going to go into it. I wasn't going to go all that because every time I do, I get combated. He said, I'm definitely going into Lanterns with lowered expectations and hoping for the best. Hoping for the best as well. Now, I know, again, when John shows up in Man of Tomorrow, it's going to be starkly different from probably what we see in Lanterns for sure. Again, that's James Gunn doing it. It's going to be colorful. It's going to be James Gunn. So yeah, but that's what's going on with Lanterns. That's what the showrunner has had to say about it. He did address everyone, so we'll see. It comes out in August. They do need to drop a second trailer. What is this? May, June, July. Probably drop one in June, maybe July, early, middle June, late June, early July, probably. So we might get another trailer from HBO for Lanterns, and I hope in that one they do show a bit more. I think that's been one of the issues with Mando Grogu. The shit that you're deciding to show. It's like, well, maybe they're saving the cool shit. Well, you want to get people into the theaters. And as of right now, like I said, I'm not even going to see that in theaters. So, but yeah, let's see on Star Wars. Let's see what President Dave Filoni had to say about the amazing series that is the Maul series. So if you are a Star Wars fan and you did not watch Maul, I highly, you're one of those fans that maybe like have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, checked in, and not fully all the way, watching Star Wars. Maul's where it's at. From episode 1 all the way to episode 10, it's phenomenal. Sam Witwer does an amazing job. The storyline is great. Where they're going is great. The characters are great. Don't get attached to anyone. It's one of those series where they really took their time with this. They know where they're going. They know what they want to do. And not only do they know what they want to do, they are taking elements, because you got this man sitting on the screen right here in charge, who is set under George Lucas, who knew what George Lucas wanted before George Lucas called Disney white slavers and signed over his life's work to them with the promise that they were going to do what he, the 7, 8, and 9 that he wanted. So George, since Disney didn't, and they botched the story that is now Star Wars, and they killed Luke, they killed Han, they killed Leia. They made Luke into this hermit that didn't give a damn about the Force. They invented their own character, Rey, who was basically the Messiah that they considered to be the Messiah to Star Wars. She is going to apparently have her own 3 movies coming up, because we know that Starfighter is supposed to be leading to Rey. Now, there's an article out from Geeks and Gamers, grain of salt over that, Geeks and Gamers, that says that they are going to, Lucasfilm and Disney are looking to retcon the sequel trilogy. Now, I don't believe that at all. Now, the reason I don't believe that is because that's such a waste. And it'd be a waste of, yeah, you could say that it's, we still have them. We're not getting rid of them. We're not, taking them off Disney Plus and throwing them in a vault somewhere. It's just not going to be a part of the main timeline. So is it really a waste of their money? I think so, because no one's going to want to revisit. No one wants to visit that universe that part of the universe as it is. For me, my canon timeline stops at movie-wise, stops at Return of the Jedi. Now, and also in my head canon, Heir to the Empire, Shadows of the Empire, all that stuff is in my head canon. Stuff that they should have done on screen instead of going their own route that led to this disastrous plot hole, big mess of a franchise that you've now separated the fans, and they don't give a damn about anything that you're doing. So much so, again, that you have such an awesome, amazing, well put together show like Maul Shadow Lords. And if you're only a hardcore Star Wars fan, you were talking about episodes 1 through 8. The reason, of course, that everybody that episodes 9 and 10 are making the rounds that they are making and getting the accolades and attention that they're making is because you threw Darth Vader into it. That's why Darth Vader's in it. So of course, when you jingle Darth Vader in front of the camera, everybody's going to pay attention, because he's going to suck the attention out of the room. That's what he does. He is that character. He is, I think, considered to be the #1 best movie villain of all time, I believe. Correct me if I'm right on that, or correct me if I'm wrong on that. But Vader is my favorite Star Wars character, and he's just got that aura. That's what Vader does. So when he walked into the screen, you just knew. Again, I thought it was going to be more of a in and out thing, but they gave you an entire episode of him, Michael Myers, chasing these guys down. It was amazing. And understanding Vader and things like that is what Dave talks about here. But we're seeing Dave take elements from what George wanted to do, and he's sticking that in Maul Shadow Lords. Now, again, George's original story that he wanted after the fall of the Empire was there was still going to be a grasp for power at that point in time. You have Vader who's dead. You've got the Emperor who's dead. You've got all these warlords that are scattered about trying to re-raise the Empire and things like that. Of course, you had Thrawn doing what Thrawn was doing. I think he was still going to use Thrawn. However, what you had with Maul at that time is still, which was still in the story of Clone Wars, everything like that we saw. He was building the underground, the criminal syndicate, and things like that. During that grasp for power, he was going to rise from the shadows as being the Shadow Lord, and he was going to then take hold of that power and become, I don't know, I don't want to say the emperor, but I guess ruler of the galaxy, I guess, with Talon at his side. Talon was going to be his apprentice, and then it was going to be up to Luke, Han and Leia's kids to take down what was going to go span over 3 movies, take down Maul and Darth Talon in this new struggle for power with what is the New Republic and the now rising criminal syndicate of Darth Maul. Instead, we made Snoke a puppet. We brought back Palpatine somehow. Palpatine has returned. Botched that story from the books. Instead of using Palpatine's cloning stuff the way that was done in the books, we completely botched that. Brought Palpatine back for shock value because we had nothing else to do, because we completely ruined the franchise after 8. So now we were scrambling. We gotta throw him back in here. We gotta get asses in the seats. And then you made again Rey Star Wars Jesus. So no one's interested. And when I say no one, I know that there are people out there, and it's a small group. It's not a large group. There's a small group of people out there that enjoy the sequel stuff. There's a small group of people out there that don't see anything wrong with the sequel stuff, that like Rey or like the direction that Star Wars is going. However, it's because of the sequel stuff that Star Wars is in the position that Star Wars is currently in. And it's up to this man on the screen to change all of that. And I do believe that he is changing some of that stuff. I was listening to Josh the other morning, and he was saying, Josh over at Dinner Nerds, and he was saying that some of his sources, Star Wars sources, and were telling him that there was a struggle between when Kathleen Kennedy was still there. There was a struggle of what things that they wanted to do and things that that others in the room were deciding against. And from my understanding, from what Josh said, that Dave was on one side of the room and Kathy was on the other side. So you had Dave from whispers from within the walls going against some of the things that they were wanting to do anyway. So hopefully, now that he is sitting at the top, he is going to be the one that makes the decisions to say, obviously he is going to be the one that says, we're doing this, we're not doing this, we're doing this, and we're doing this. So maybe Dave is trying to fix what can be fixed within the cracks and things like that. But I do not believe that is. I could be wrong. Now, if they do, if they do, I promise you, I will be so shocked, dismayed. I will be bewildered if they actually retcon the sequel trilogy. If they do, I think it'd be one of the best things they've ever done. But if they do, I'll be very shocked by that. So, but this is what Dave had to say about Darth Vader showing up in Maul.
Vader, the key to Vader for me is that, like, he's not Anakin. He doesn't recognize that. He can't. Anything that reminds him of Anakin, he's going to destroy. So when he sees a Jedi, he's going to destroy the Jedi, because the Jedi would remind him unconsciously or consciously that he betrayed all of his friends and everything he knew and the life he grew up with. For what? For nothing. He lost everything. He made a bad trade. He was lied to, he was deceived. He can't accept that truth. So he's even farther down the path than Maul. Maul is struggling to let go of hate, but Anakin got consumed by it. If he were to face what he did, it would destroy him more. You know, I find a lot of pity for him because of what he did and the depth of his treachery. And that's Darth Vader. Anakin's trapped in there somewhere, and Darth Vader won't let him surface. And so to me, the key is not to actually give him a character. He's devoid of it because he doesn't care. Darth Vader does not care. He does not have compassion.
And this is why I was saying, when people were saying, I wish that Maul and Vader would have a conversation about what? unless you were talking Obi-Wan or a way to bring Padme back to life, there's nothing Vader's going to discuss with you, because again, that's just not him. That's not what he does. He is sent out to do a job, and he's going to do that job, and it's going to do a job where he's not going to say much to you at all. Vader's not a big talker, not a big talker at all. Even like in the scene, even in this Rogue One scene in the hallway, he didn't talk. The only reason he talked to Krennic was because Krennic was directly summoned to Vader. And that was by order of the Emperor for the failures that happened on you losing the plans to the Death Star. So, you know, it's not a, it's unless it has something to do with the Emperor telling him to do something like in way of the conversation with Krennic, or maybe something he's doing with Imperials. But at the time of Maul, you know, Imperials don't even really know that he exists. Nobody really does, except for a handful of people. So Vader's not having conversations.
He does not see you. He sees the thing he wants to destroy, and he will do that.
Right.
It's like the same feeling you got in Rogue One when he comes down the hallway. He doesn't talk to those guys. He's going to destroy them. He has one mission, and all of his remorse and all of his anger and all of his hate is in every swing that he does. It's like that's how it resolved when he saw Ahsoka. He wants to destroy her. She, of all people, would remind him of who he was. Hey, I got to destroy that. I can't face that. You know, and so like Obi-Wan, he wants to destroy that. So he is a destroyer, Darth Vader, and only his son, only his offspring could make him spark, could make him see something. But at first, selfishly, you and I can rule the galaxy. That's where he goes. He doesn't come all the way back. It's a long process. So, and the reason for that is because this is George's character. This is the backbone of the whole thing. And you don't want to do anything that interrupts that, or changes that, or diverts that. And this doesn't do it, because this is the price you pay when you give into your anger, when you give into that terrible side of yourself. And it should terrify all of us, because we're all capable of that depth of terror. We're all capable of doing the wrong thing. Dockie's capable, you know, Devin's capable, Maul's very capable, but so is Lawson and Riley. They're all capable of doing terrible things. It's not something that's just for the Sith or the Jedi. And that's like, you know, Han, he can be more selfish. I'm only in it for money. Or by the end, I'm sorry, he chooses to care about somebody more than himself. These are the lessons that George is trying to teach us and wants to show us in these stories. And so that was the important thing to reflect. If you dare to put Vader in a story, you have to do it for the right reason and then show him the right way. So yeah, he's a powerful character, and they studied the heck out of the animation, the movement, the physicality. And I think surpassed.
They did, because it looks great.
I mean, and it's funny, it's a lot of the same team. Stu would have been there on Rebels, you know, and had to animate him the first time. So you want to always get better. And I think that's hopefully what the team has done here. They've gotten better and gave you a better Vader than we gave you before.
Indeed. And they did. I mean, this man right here, this is why I praise Dave. Dave understands. If you go back to the earlier seasons of The Mandalorian, when people were in love with The Mandalorian, when they did the whole director sit down, because, you know, I think a different director like Bryce Dallas Howard, you even had Taika Waititi that did some of the Mandalorian episodes. And when they got to Dave, because they were all going around the room and they were talking, when they got to Dave, actually, you know, do you mind? I don't. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it on Twitter. Let me see. Oops. How do you spell his last name? Let me see. Okay, that's fine. We'll just go to YouTube. Dave Filoni at the director's table. Well, when he sat down at this this table, Bryce, let me type in Bryce Dallas Howard. He sat at the table with Bryce Dallas Howard, Taika Waititi, and the others. Dang, where is there? It is. There it is. I think.
The enthusiasm is infectious.
So much of this process is about problem solving and making breakthroughs.
Everyone is
not. All these years later.
Yeah, this isn't it. Hold on. Here it is.
Prequels, I thought, were almost an impossible task. How do you tell the story that we've all grown up with, imagining who Anakin Skywalker was? You saw so many things in Phantom Menace that you just imagined, like the Jedi Council, and none of it really was what I had expected. But I know now that that's just like how creative. Because he knew what it meant to take this kid away from his mother when he had an attachment, and he's left with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan trains Anakin at first out of a promise he makes to Qui-Gon, not because he cares about him. When they get Anakin, when they find him on Tatooine, he says, "Why do I feel like we've found another useless life form?" He's comparing Anakin to Jar Jar.
Excuse me.
And he's saying, this is a waste of our time. Why are we doing this? Why do you see importance in these creatures like Jar Jar Binks and this 10-year-old boy? This is useless. So he's a brother to Anakin eventually, but he's not a father figure. That's a failing for Anakin. He doesn't have the family that he needs. He loses his mother in the next film. He fails on this promise that he made, "Mother, I will come back and save you." So he's left completely vulnerable. And Star Wars ultimately is about family. So that moment in that movie, which a lot of people I think diminish into just a cool lightsaber fight, but it's everything that the entire 3 films of the prequels hangs on, is that one particular fight. And Maul serves his purpose, and at that point died before George may bring him back, but he died. And that's showing you again how the Emperor is completely self-serving. He doesn't care, it's just a tool, and he's using people, and now he's going to use this child. That follows all the way through to the line which terrified me as a kid, when the Emperor tells Luke, "You, like your father, are now mine." And the idea when I was a little kid watching that movie of some evil person possessing my father, making him do things or making him be evil was terrifying. That was like a thought that was horrible. Also, it's amazing when you watch Return of the Jedi that Luke has never done anything that I would call it like he's a bad character. He has like a tendency to be dark, and a lot of people wanted Anakin, oh, he should have been darker as a character. It's not true at all. I believed Luke would turn to the dark side in Return of the Jedi. I believe that was on the table. I believe that he would kill the Emperor.
But yeah, anyway, because he goes on a little bit longer. The point is, Dave understands the assignment. Dave understands this franchise. I believe if Dave can get this all, if that's what he's trying to do, and I don't know that he is, but if he's trying to get this whole thing back on track, if he's trying to get, asses back in the seats and fans to, outside of just the hardcore fans, to even some of the hardcore fans are stepped out, to really give a damn about Star Wars again, it really starts with undoing the mess that Disney created. But the man understands. He understands these characters, he understands his franchise, and I completely trust Dave. So I always have. So yeah. Kevin Davis, you're going to get blocked from See, I'm not chill. We're chill and blue and these others. When you come into their chat, will put up with your dumbass bullshit comments. I won't. I'm about sick of you. I've always been sick of you, but I'm about to block you to where you can't even come into any of my streams or comment on anything that I say because your comment is ignorant as fuck. You said Star Wars films still white led. Y'all just want to complain. I fucking love Star Wars. I've never been one to complain about black folks, not because to me, Star Wars is not about race. It's never been about race. So for you to come in here and try to make it about race shows what you are always about every time you come into people's comments and you want to say Star Wars content is still the same thing that you just said the last time. So I hope that you enjoyed your last Planet Fanatic stream. I hope you enjoyed your last chime in to me, because the only other time that you'll ever be able to speak to me is if you come to a Pantheon stream and you comment through Chill's channel or through Back of the Bus. But as for you and your dumbass shit that you say, goodbye. I've had it. He's banned. No more Kevin Davis. No more Kevin Davis. I'm in a banning mood today. All right. Now, TKO. So which director do you think has the potential to really expand the Star Wars story beyond George Lucas's era? I think Cameron could dip his toe in Star Wars. I think that I really don't even mind Mangold doing what he was going to do. I don't even know if he still is, but I think Cameron would be my first go-to. All right. So the next thing that we have here is, I don't know how big of fans Planet of the Apes everybody is, but I love Planet of the Apes. The old ones, the new ones, the one with Marky Mark. I love them all. I think Planet of the Apes is great. I would actually like to see a sequel to Marky Marks and have that continued, or rather not even have a sequel to Marky Marks. At one point in time, a long time ago, obviously when it came out, I wanted a sequel to Marky Marks, but don't have to have a sequel to that. What I want more than anything is them in where we currently with the Planet of the Apes where we're getting now, all these sequels to Planet of the Apes. Can we get to the point where the apes are actually running the world? That's what I want to get to. I want to get to the point where the apes are driving cars. I want to get to the point where the apes are the police, where the apes are the doctors, the teachers, the everyday citizens. I want to get to that point to where the humans are the ones that are, being kept in zoos, and the humans are the ones that are being or they have as pets, and like the old ones. Obviously the old ones didn't start like that, but they progressed to that. I feel like we've been on this journey a really long time. To be honest, I felt we should have reached somewhat of the apes running the world by this last one, this Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, because in the War for the Planet of the Apes, which wasn't a war, was inaccurately named, but for the War for the Planet of the Apes, we saw that the humans at that time were basically, even in the second one before War of the Planet of the Apes, they had fizzled out. There were barely any humans. The virus had taken over and killed so many different humans, and had spread all over the world that the apes were running shit, somewhat. At least the apes that we were following, Caesar's little clan. And we know, obviously, from War of the Planet of the Apes that there were other apes out there. We know from Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and it's expanded on and on and on and on. But at what point in time do they run the world and I guess maybe they hinted at that in this last one. I forget the ape's name that was like king of that little area that they went to, but he was talking about planes or something like that, and the evolution of what they were wanting to do or whatever. So maybe they're getting to that. I don't see that's going to be in this next one, but maybe they're getting to all of that. But Max Shackman, director of WandaVision and Fantastic Four, is going to be helming this. And it says, after helping relaunch Marvel's Fantastic Four franchise with Fantastic Four First Steps, director Matt Shackman and writer Josh Friedman are getting a shot at another high-profile IP. Sources tell Deadline that Shackman is set to direct the untitled Planet of the Apes movie at 20th Century. With Friedman penning the script, Shackman will also produce along with longtime Apes producer Rick Joffin. Don't know who that is. Then it goes on to say plot details are being kept under wraps other than the film will mark a return of the planet where apes are superior species ruling all. While not confirmed, sources tell Deadline that this will not be a continuation of the most recent Oh, it will not. Oh, okay. Recent pick 2024's Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, but a new original story. Oh, okay. Oh, I did not know that. I thought we were continuing on from West Balls. Yeah, but a new original story that Shackman and Friedman are developing. Friedman also penned the script along with Silver and Jaffa. Okay, so this is all new. So maybe if what they said here, we're superior species ruling all, maybe Matt Shackman is going to pick up that from there. Maybe he's actually going to have a universe, a world where the apes are ruling, where they are your politicians, your teachers, your police officers, your everything like that. So that's what I want. So I'm hoping we're going there. I don't want them to still be in trees. I really do not. I'm hoping that's where we're going. Because I didn't know that this was all new. Planet of the Apes is no, we're not doing that. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was directed by Wes Ball and well received by critics and audiences. The film brought in 397 million at the global box office. Shackman has become a fan favorite at Disney, earning an Emmy nomination for directing the Marvel Studio series WandaVision, which is great. WandaVision is amazing. His work on that show ultimately helped him land the Fantastic Four, which was not so amazing. The film bowed last summer, bringing in 521 million at the global box office. I like Matt Shackman. I thought his work on WandaVision was phenomenal. I think WandaVision is phenomenal. I didn't really care for Fantastic Four. I thought there were good parts of Fantastic Four, but of course, Matt Shackman as a director is working with whatever Marvel tells him. Hey, Matt Shackman plays ball. We know that. That's why he's getting some of the things over at Marvel that he's gotten. He delivered a great show for WandaVision, but he's not a pushback director. He's one of the ones that's going to go in, do the system, and do what Kevin Feige and company are saying to do. So this, I believe, he may have a little bit more free range to do what it is he's wanting to do. And I hope what he's wanting to do is they're not in trees. Planet of the Apes, it is coming up soon. Battery, what's up? Said James Cameron is too old. We need fresh blood in Star Wars. No more boomers. And he also said, if Caesar ain't in it, I ain't going. Well, you won't be there, brother, because he ain't in it. Caesar is dead. This is no longer those stories anymore. This is no longer following. I don't even know, since this is a new original story, I doubt it's following that Caesar. I think Caesar as a figure in the Planet of the Apes always has to be, the ape that started it all. So I'm sure even in Shackman's that will be the case, but I doubt it will be the storyline of the Caesar we followed in these last few from the latest, 4 films. He's not gonna be in that. He ain't gonna be in that. This is gonna be new, and I'm interested to really see what this is gonna be since it's new. So yeah, Planet of the Apes. He said, what is your favorite Apes movie out of the newest one or just as a whole? Are we talking about the old ones as well? But out of the newest ones, my favorite one is the second one. I really like the first one too, but the second one is really great. I don't think anything tops that. Get your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape. And that was great in theaters. If you saw that in theaters, that was good, man. But the second one, what is that? It's not Kingdom. I forget what the second one is, but I like that one. And I'm in the fandom, the small fandom that likes Marky Marks as well. I liked his. All right. Another movie that is, I don't know if everybody watched this either. Were you a kid on Fridays? A Disney kid on Fridays when they would do, let's watch a Disney Channel movie. And it was around October. And yes, Dawn was the second. War was the third. That's right, Battery. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. But around October, they always, of course, showed some of the best Disney Channel original movies. Has some of the best movies. If you were a Disney kid and you grew up on Disney and you were every Friday night, you got to watch either a new Disney Channel original movie or a rerun of an older Disney Channel original movie or whatever. Disney Channel had it going on. The Disney Channel original movies were great. The Halloween ones, whether it was Halloween Town 2, 3, whether it was Under Wraps, which I think Under Wraps is so no pun intended, under appreciated as one of Disney Original's best Halloween films. Under Wraps is great, but then of course there is Hocus Pocus. Hocus Pocus. Hocus Pocus is so damn good. Hocus Pocus is a Disney original. It was directed by High School Musical. Kenny Ortega. Kenny Ortega directed the first Hocus Pocus, the best Hocus Pocus. The second one I didn't really care for. I was really excited for it, but then I sat down and watched it, and I did not care for it. And I think largely had to do with Kenny Ortega's absence from it. But this when they did this on Disney, when they dropped the Disney Channel original movies, the Halloween movies, this was always a fan favorite. It was always one of my favorites. I love Hocus Pocus. The second one, again, I didn't really care for, but they're working on a third one, which I think they're trying to put also in theaters as well as Disney Plus. So everyone seems to be returning, and this is what they are saying. Hocus Pocus 3 is officially in early development from Disney Live Action Studios with stars Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy, not butchering your last name, reprising their roles as the Sanderson sisters. We understand there are plans for a theatrical distribution component this time around following the success of the 2022 straight-to-streaming Hocus Pocus 2 available exclusively on Disney+. However, the studio declined to comment as the project is still in its infancy. News of the third installment of the Bewitching films was announced in 2023 by Sean Bailey, former president of Walt Disney. Blah, 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 blah. Hocus Pocus 3 was left in limbo. It's been just shy of 3 years since talk of the newest sequel reached a fever pitch after Midler revealed a brilliant script was ready, but producers were working out all of the logistic things before they can return to complete the trilogy. Sources tell me that the halt in negotiations came down to salary negotiations with Midler, Parker, and the other, all which have been worked out. Plot details for Hocus Pocus 3 under wraps. Released in 1993, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Kenny Ortega, his name is noted there, as it should be. And I hope Kenny Ortega is returning to help them with this one, because in my opinion, I think they need it. I, again, adore Hocus Pocus, but that third one, or that second one, that second one was not good. I didn't like that second one. I didn't like the storyline. I thought it was really too Disney. It was too Disney. It was too campy, too like, you know, it was too campy. It was too campy. The first one is not campy like that. And maybe you could say it was the times that it was created or whatever, but the first one was not like I felt like they were trying too hard on the second one. Again, the storyline wasn't great either. Why and how the Sandersons came back, and then I just didn't really care for it. It wasn't what I was expecting. The second one was going to be. What I wanted was what was going around, the fake plot that was going around before Hocus Pocus 2 came out, where they were supposedly going back to a new group of kids, of course, lit the virgin lit the black flame candle, or however they were bringing the Sanderson sisters back in the second one, I forgot. But they were going to go to Max, and they were going to go to his sister, and they were going to go to, I forget the girl's name, and they were going to go to all of them, and they were going to get their help. I liked that more, and that might seem real simple. That might seem like, oh, we've done that before in other movies, been there, done that, like with the Scary Movie or with Scream. It's like, you know, you brought back Sydney, you brought back all those people because they've done. But I feel like with this, that still would have worked. It would have been better than the story we got. You bring back everybody. The sister, the little girl, the little sister was the only one, I guess, that wanted to come back, if I'm remembering that correctly, or that they had pinned down as really coming back. They were still working on Max, and they were still working on the other chick. But I think that would have been a better story. You get them back, you have them help you take down the Sanderson sisters, and boom. But I believe, again, I didn't care for it. The story was, you had these little teenage kids, typical, you know, Disney movie teenage kids, and they went to like a show or something, or I forget. Or there was something, however, they brought the Sanderson sisters back. It wasn't good, though. Now, if you enjoyed it, I'm sorry that I'm calling it not good. It just was not what I was expecting for a sequel. But I do hope that they get it together in this third one. If they're trying to put it in theaters, I don't know how, how it'll do. Hocus Pocus does have a cult following. I would say that that is a film that every Halloween it's on someone's screens. People are watching it. Is one of those things that some people, I know I do. It's a must. It's a must around October for me to watch. I watch it. I watch Under Wraps and some of the other ones that I really like. So I'll be checking this out. Just because I didn't like the second one, I really do like Hocus Pocus, and I think Bette Midler as Winnie, she's great, especially that first one, man. She is great. She's great. And so is Sarah Jessica Parker and Kathy Najimy. I don't know how you say it. Yeah, they're all three of them. Great. So maybe this time you bring back Max and some of the others, and maybe that's the brilliant script Bette Midler is talking about. But do something better than having that hardcore Disney energy in there. We just don't. It's a Disney movie, but you don't have to do that. Get Kenny Ortega. Bring back Kenny Ortega. He knows what he's doing. He's a great director, and he gave you the first one. That's why the second one suffered, because he wasn't a part of it. So bring him back. So Hocus Pocus 3, it is coming. It's in the infancy stages right now, but it is coming to Disney Plus, and apparently possibly theatrically. So if you were a Hocus Pocus fan, let me know what you thought. Battery with a super, and I really much appreciate that, where he said, support more streams, please. Summer is content packed. Yes, sir. I am here. For those of you that missed the early, I think this is going to be the time I start now. So tell your friends to tell a friend to tell a friend and tell more friends that this is where I'm going to be on the in the evening. And I think with me, I'm not for sure yet. I'm working it out. But I think with me back in the evening, I think we might have Corey back. So it might be Corey and I back. Now, as far as Q goes, Q's too busy. Q is, I think like I said, he manages one of the it's one of the boarding dog training facilities, and he manages one of them, I believe. So he's busy with his schedule, so he wouldn't be able to be back. But I think Corey and I would be able to be back. So especially if I'm doing this time, so Corey may be back. So Battery, I appreciate that. You guys be looking forward to the content at this time. And again, right above me or below me or beside me will be Corey. Possibly. Trying to work it out. Xavier said, hopefully Hocus Pocus can finish out the trilogy strong. Hopefully they can. Battery said, Halloween Town, Hocus Pocus, creepier and funny. Oh, you know what's another one that really is the really good one? Don't Look Under the Bed. Don't Look Under the Bed is a really good one too. One that I used to watch as a kid, used to scare me. But it was good. Don't Look Under the Bed was great. Very good. Where is that dude? The black dude? He used to be in a lot of Disney shit. He played Larry. He played the imaginary friend that was turning into a boogeyman because her little sister was forgetting him. He used to play in a lot. Where is that man? He used to play in a lot of Disney stuff. It's Don't Look Under the Bed. What is this man's name? Ty Hodges. That is his name. Oh, he had a dramatic shift in appearance. He is 44 years old now. I guess still maybe acting. I don't know. Maybe into fashion, it looks like. I mean, you guys want to see? Let's see. This is the dude. This is Ty Hodges. See, and this is his look from Don't Look Under the Bed. Actually, that's what the caption is. It says, just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to get old. Larry, and that was his character's name, and he did this on this must have been for Halloween. Oh shit, let's listen.
Gonna tell my story.
Don't Look Under the Bed. So they're still like,
hi, my name is Frances Bacon McCausland, and I'm gonna tell my story. 25 years ago, I fought a boogie person with my brother's imaginary friend, Barry Houdini. I had an adventure.
Now, see, that's what they should do. Do a don't look under the bed. Bring her back. Bring back Ty Hodges, where he was yeah, she was talking about 25 years ago. I had a venture, blah, 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 blah. And now the boogeyman's back or something like that. I don't know. But bring back Don't Look Under the Bed. I'd watch it. That movie is really good. I'd watch it.
Tricky because it was a boogeyman, but then when the boogeyman changed back to my imaginary friend, it was actually Zoe, my doll, who's a girl. So technically, boogie person. It was a really scary time, and I recovered. I think I was seeing crazy things all over town, my house. Everyone thought I was nuts and that I was just imagining everything. It was traumatic. This was 25 years.
Anyway, this was from 2024, so that's obviously not happening. But I'd still watch. Damn, they are really good friends. So yeah, anyway, that's dude. That's where he is now. That's where he is now. I thought I haven't seen him in anything, but he used to be in everything Disney did. Everything Disney did. All right. Let's move to the next one here. The next one that we're going to go to, where the hell did sorry, let me pull this back up. Next one we're going to go to is, again, I don't know if how many sports fans we got or who's been paying attention to the stuff going on with Austin Rivers and Draymond Green. Quite interesting. Quite interesting. And I say interesting because I think Draymond's out of his fucking mind. I've always said that, though. If you remember, Marcus and I went back and forth on Draymond Green. I blame Draymond Green as a Warriors fan. Let me put it this way, as a Stephen Curry fan, because I go where Steph goes. I was a Kobe fan. When Kobe retired, I, latched on to Steph. I followed Steph at Davidson, though. And then, of course, there's other players that I really cling to currently right now, though, outside of Steph. But during that time, during that Warriors dynasty era where they were building and waxing everybody, you couldn't tell me shit about the Warriors. So I'm a Steph fan. I was going where Steph went. He has touched this hand. We have touched hands, and he said, "What's up?" to me. I'm a big Steph fan. Like that man. Love Wardell. Think he is one of the greatest basketball players, and he should be in the conversation of greatest basketball players. Not only did the man change the game of basketball, during that time, I was, of course, as some of you know, I coached AAU basketball. Proud to say we had one of the third best ranked team in the state in my 15U division. Also, with all of that coaching and stuff like that, during that time of the Warriors and Steph and do everything they were doing, you saw kids shooting from the volleyball line. You saw, which they still do today, shooting from the volleyball line, pulling it, trying to be like Stephen Curry. The man changed the game of basketball. I love Steph. However, the man on screen did not change the game of basketball, but he has this idea, or this he's convinced himself that he is an all-star. And Draymond Green is not an all-star. Now, he might be inducted into the Hall of Fame, NBA Hall of Fame as an all-star and things like that. But however, that's only simply because Draymond Green has played around all-stars like Kevin Durant, who I believe he ran off. That was me and Marcus had a back and forth about that. As one thing I used to tell my kids all the time is, if you are a cancer to this team and you are drilling holes while we're trying to row, you are no help to this team. I will cut you immediately and get somebody else in here that can function and play in the same sandbox with other players, because this is a team sport. If you want to play on your own and you want to, talk and have all the attitude, go play chess, go play golf, go play tennis. Those are individual sports. But when you play on a team like basketball, when there are 5 of you on the court, you have to learn to play together. And that also comes into play how you talk to one another. I used to tell my boys that all the time. How y'all talk to one another is vital. You have to have good communication. You got to have good relationships, all that kind of stuff. The chemistry has to flow. Not to say that the Warriors' chemistry didn't flow, but as I said, I believe Draymond is the one that ran KD off. It was after that huge blow up they had that you saw in KD that he was ready to go. And you could say, well, KD was whining. I agree with that too. Also, tough it out. You know, sometimes your teammates are going to have disagreements, but we also don't know how many times, with knowing how Draymond is, Draymond went at KD or said something to KD or whatever. Draymond is a cancer. I have said that since 2016. Draymond Green is a cancer. No matter what team he goes to, he's going to be a cancer. And how do you get rid of cancer? You got to cut that shit out. And I'm not saying that Steve Kerr is this phenomenal coach, because I have never said that. I have never pat Steve Kerr on the back. I have never said that he's a phenomenal basketball coach. I put him in the same boat I put Draymond in. The only reason Draymond gets the attention that Draymond gets is because he played around all-stars. The only reason Steve Kerr gets the attention he gets as a coach is simply because he coached all-stars. He coached all-stars. He didn't have to, and when I say coach, I use that word very lightly. He didn't have to do much. When he hurt his back and was gone for all those games and Mike Brown stepped in, that was coaching. That was coaching. The game, I think that was the year that they went, 70, what was that? 76 and whatever the fuck. The game, Steve came back, they lost. They had been winning all them games. The game Steve came back, they lost. So I don't praise Steve Kerr as a great coach either, because I don't believe that he is a great coach. But when it comes to Draymond Green, again, he's convinced himself, and this is not the first time Draymond Green has come out and said something which is off some batshit crazy shit about his time as a Warrior. And one of his favorite things to do is to point to you and, point that he's got 4 rings. But again, you remove Steph, you remove Clay, you remove KD or the 2016 Warriors before KD got there. He doesn't have that ring. What does Draymond Green now? And I'm not saying that Draymond Green does not contribute to the Warriors. Obviously, he does. But is it in the way of the stat book as far as points go? Absolutely not. It is the way of little things. Draymond Green goes in and he's a I don't really want to compare him to Dennis Rodman, but he's like a Dennis Rodman. He's going to go in, he's going to disrupt. He's going to go in, he's going to do the little things. He's going to talk to you. He's going to get under your skin. He's going to dive on the ground for the ball. He's going to sacrifice his body for the ball. He's going to rebound. He's going to assist. He's going to get you that 2 to 4, maybe 8 to 10 good points every now and then. But Draymond Green is not stacking the book at points. And this illusion that he's created around himself, that thinking that he is Michael Jordan or thinking that he is God's gift to basketball or God's gift to the Warriors is insane. It is insane. This man is nothing like that. This man does not bring that type of ability to the Warriors. I'll even say this. In 2016, when the Warriors had Cleveland down 3-0 and Cleveland made that historic run back, this is what I mean by being a team player, by being a cancer and things like that. That was the same year that Draymond had gotten, I think he was at his technical foul max, and they told him, you get one more technical foul, you got to sit out a game. All the Warriors needed was to win one more game. Not arguably, Steph could have 5 rings. He could have 5 rings had they won in 2016 and not let Cleveland come back. But that game that they came back and made it 3-1 was the game he had to sit out because they got a technical foul the game before. And he was told, if you get another technical foul, you got to sit out. Now, that's not saying that Draymond is the team, but he's a huge piece of that. Because we needed his physicality. We needed him to board against Tristan. We needed him to board and get under LeBron's skin. We needed him to dive on the ball. We needed his assist. We needed Draymond's energy. But by needing Draymond's energy, again, he's convinced himself that the energy that he brings is all-star energy. And it's not. It's not. You do not bring all-star energy. You bring cleanup. You bring little things. You bring, I'm going to do the shit that nobody else between the lines wants to do. That's what Draymond brings. Nothing else. He ain't giving you 20 points. He ain't dropping 40 a game. That's not what if anything, he's giving you attitude. If anything, he's going to give you technical fouls. If anything, he's getting kicked out of the game. And if anything else, he's hurting players intentionally. So Draymond is not this superstar he's convinced himself that he is. You played around superstars, you got 4 rings because of it, but guess what? The niggas on the bench got rings too, and they didn't even step between the lines. So just because you got 4 rings does not then mean that you're a superstar, i.e. your coach. Steve Kerr played with the Bulls, 96 Bulls. He played with them. But and Steve Kerr had his moments. Steve Kerr was, their sharpshooter. He was their 3-point guy. Steve Kerr helped them out of a lot of stuff. But I would kind of equate Steve Kerr's contribution to that ring for the Bulls to Draymond's. You're not doing much, brother. You're out there, but you're not doing much. You give us a few points here and there. You guard your man. You stay in. You move your feet. That's what you do. You play defense. You're a disruptor, but you're not an all-star. You're not an all-star. You didn't do what Clay did. You haven't done what Steph's done. You're not doing what KD did. And in this point in his career, he's never going to reach those feats ever. And he never was, because he's not that player. But let's hear what he said, because he said this before we even get to this. He said that he feels, let's go to Austin Rivers first, actually, because Austin Rivers got asked about it first. Here it is.
This to say about his head coach, Steve Kerr.
Oh, man, I knew this was coming. As much as he's done for me in basketball, a part of me think he's hindered me in my career and what I could have become. When KD came from 2016 on, I have not had a play in our playbook.
Hold on. I'm going to pause that really quick because I didn't see the comments. It's actually really not, Arthur. It's really not. Just because he's a 4-time All-Star and he helped win 4 championships, Cantor's not a bit strong. He's a 4-time All-Star from what? Yes, he's got Defensive Player of the Year, but it's not, again, Draymond's talking as if he's an all-star, as if he was the one out there dropping 40. He does. I'm not saying Draymond doesn't contribute. That's why I just went on saying the things that he does. He's a cleanup guy. He's the guy that's going to go in there. He's going to take a charge. He's the guy that's going to go in there and he's going to sacrifice his body. He's the guy that's going to dive on the ground for the ball. He's going to be a disruptor. He's going to get on under the other team's skin. He's going to be that guy, but he's never going to be the guy to drop 30. He's never going to be the guy to drop 40. He's never going to be the guy that we go to in a tight situation. He's never going to be the guy that we put the ball in his hands when we're down 1 and the game has got a 5. He's never going to be that guy. He's the guy we go to when we want something done, when we want the dirty shit done, when we need somebody on the ground, when we need boards, when we need you to be that Defensive Player of the Year. That's what he is. He's not the illusion, I guess, is on you too, because he's given this illusion that he's an all-star. He's given this illusion that because I have 4 rings, that makes me an all-star. As I said, the niggas on the bench got 4 rings too. Does that make them all-stars? Absolutely not. Just because he's got the 4 rings does not mean that he's an all-star. It doesn't. It does not mean he's an all-star. He played with all-stars. And maybe by playing with all-stars, that illusion rubbed off on some of y'all and made y'all think that he was an all-star. No, he simply played with them. That's it. He played, and yes, he could. Yeah, I see what you said there. Yes, he contributed to them winning. He did. He definitely contributed to them winning. But we won games, and when I say we, because I was a heavy Warriors fan during that time, I still am. During this ugly time, and we're at home, so right now we're vacationing. Our vacation started early, which I knew was happening anyway. He is a contributor. He does, but during that time, we won games when Dre didn't even play. As I said, if we would have, I promise you, if the Warriors trade Draymond Green in 2016, they are still the same Warriors, because 1, I don't believe KD leaves. You still got KD, and you could have gotten Draymond Green is not the only nigga in the league to dive for the ball. Draymond Green is not the only nigga in the league that can play defense, nor is he the only nigga in the league that would be eager to play with Clay, Steph, and KD. So you get another nigga in there that's going to give you less attitude, that's going to give you less technical fouls. It's going to, not only that, that's not going to run off good players like Jordan Poole and KD. We needed Poole. The pool parties were wonderful. I love the pool parties. However, because you punched the nigga, he left. We traded him. It was too much because he is a cancer. You got rid of KD. KD left because of how you treated him. And that's from KD. That's not like, oh, I'm speculating from watching. That's out of the nigga, the Slim Reaper's mouth. That's out of his mouth. You ran him off. You punch Poole, and then you're over here saying the shit that you're saying, talking about you being an all-star and talking about how you felt as if Steve Kerr held you back. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm sorry. Yes, he contributed. Yes, he did all of those things, but he did not contribute in the way that he is thinking an all-star does. And again, not all that the contributing has to just be all-star. I acknowledge his contributes. I appreciate what Draymond does because you need those dogs. You need dogs. You don't need these pretty boys that's going to go in there and not want to be touched and pretty boys that don't want to get on the ground. You need them dogs. Somebody that's going to take a charge. Somebody that's going to get on the ground. Somebody that's going to talk that talk. You need that shit. But in moderation sometimes. Draymond doesn't know when to turn that shit on and off. Always be that dog on the floor and be that defensive player. But sometimes you got to chill out on the way you talk to your teammates. You got to chill out on the way you're intentionally hurting other players. You got to chill out on your technical fouls because that doesn't just hurt your wallet. And I'm sure he'll tell you, as he said in press conferences, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't just hurt your wallet. It hurts the Warriors. It hurts the team. When you are not out there, it hurts us because you've now gotten a technical foul. The tension is all on you. The energy is all shifted and you've just gotten kicked out the game. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Draymond he's a cancer.
Single play that we run for me in our playbook. This is 2016. But if you're going to take one gripe and not be able to move past it for all the other things, then you're shallow as a person. That says more about you as a person than it does about Steve or whoever else in that instant. You got to take the good with the bad, man.
Can he be right in both cases that he wasn't featured at all? But I mean, how do you feature Draymond Green if
feature him doing what?
I don't
Thank
know.
you. That's my point. Feature him doing what? Doing what?
I'm trying to be fair to the context.
And Arthur, brother, I'm sorry, you're wrong again. Steph is one of the greatest players in the league. Steph is going to go down as one of the greatest players to come out of the league. I think he needs to start being in conversation as one of the greatest players to play the game. Even without Clay and Green, he is still Stephen Curry. To put Steph in a box the way that you just did is crazy. But you also put Michael in a box. I think you have a problem with greats.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's utter ridiculous. And you know what's shocking? Because Draymond has such a basketball, he has such a high IQ. That's a big part of his game is how smart of a basketball player he is. So it bewilders me that he even.
It bewilders me too, brother.
Thinks like this because it's like Draymond.
Me too.
Them taking a chance on you and them playing you and Steve putting you at the forefront of that offense, making you be the point forward and kind of the, letting you allow you to have that voice and the freedom to have your, whether it's a spasms or when he loses it or to be the emotional leader of that team. Steve let him be who he was. So to hear he was hindered, especially Draymond's never been an offensive score juggernaut. He's left open 80% of the game. No one guards him.
Thank you.
Because he's such a
man. I don't know how how many times when they'll kick it over to Dre and he's in the corner or he's on a wing or something like that. I'm holding my breath like, nigga, please drive. They're giving you a lane. They're giving you the space. It just take about 3 steps in. Take the jumper. I'd rather you take that jumper at the elbow than you take that 3 because it's 9 times out of 10 not going in because he's not that guy. He's not that guy.
The high IQ player. He's been able to take that and be a free screener for Steph, Clay. He's been this enforcer. He does all these things defensively to dominate. I don't know what way he was hindered and why they would ever draw up plays for you to score. You were never a scorer. In fact, the teams would have loved it. If you were shooting, it'd be much better than Steph not. Or Clay or Kevin not.
Right.
It's just ludicrous.
It's
I don't even know where he got this from. If Draymond was on another team in the NBA, I don't know what his career would have looked like.
He wouldn't be a Hall of Famer.
No.
And that's not
a slight.
Thank you. It's not a slight on him. It's not a slight because you still are that dog. You still do the shit that a lot of niggas don't want to do. I used to tell my boys all the time, I am looking for that dog. I'm looking for somebody that wants to get on the ground. I'm looking for somebody at an 8 a.m. game that's going to be loud, that's going to be in your face, man-to-man defense. If I call a diamond press, you are trapping on the sidelines, trapping at the baseline. You're all over the place, hands wide, open, wide, moving. I'm looking for that dog, that person that's going to get in there and do the shit nobody wants to do. So it's not a slight on him, but he takes it as a slight because he wants to be in the conversation with Steph and Clay. But nigga, you're not. You're not. Why would we draw a play around Draymond Green? And what that doesn't, with the basketball IQ that Draymond Green has, for him to say the stupid shit on his podcast, this is why not every nigga needs a microphone. To him to say the stupid shit on his podcast, and they never drew a play around me. Nigga, for what? To do what? Why would they draw a play around you? That doesn't make any
Draymond,
sense.
because he is in the Hall of Fame. So it's like, take the fact that the guy that helped you get there is the guy you're saying hindered you. I don't understand I don't get it. Dre, and I love Dre. I love his competitive. I love everything about Dre. We got drafted in the same class. He's too smart of a basketball player to genuinely think this.
Come on.
There's no way. He's just too good and too smart of a basketball player.
All I know
come on,
is
man.
Robert Horry was with us a couple of weeks ago. He said that he never had a play run for him. Now that's one of the great.
Okay. Now see that's what I mean right there. Now we're talking the Lakers. Now we're talking Samaki Walker, we're talking Robert Horry, we're talking Derek Fisher, we're talking Shaquille O'Neal, we're talking Kobe Bryant, we're talking who else was on that squad? Rick Fox. If Robert Horry, one of the greatest, in my opinion, one of the greatest shooters, Robert Horry didn't have a player around him, what the fuck would Steve Kerr on his whiteboard with X's and O's draw a play around Draymond Green? The delusion.
Clutch shooters in NBA history. And he said when he was with the Rockets, they never ran a play for him. He would have a legitimate
He's talking about with the Rockets.
Over Draymond.
Because he's offensively more forward. Draymond was a facilitator and a guy that just affects the game in ways, half of which don't even show up on the stat sheet. Robert Horry was the guy who affects the game by putting the ball in the basket.
That's what I'm talking about when he said half of which doesn't even show on the stat sheet. Taking charges doesn't show up on sacrificing your body, doing the little shit that does not show up on the stat sheet. And that's what I used to get onto my boys about all the time. Stop looking for the numbers. Stop looking to coach how many points did I have or how many this or how many that. Let's talk about how many turnovers you had. How many missed layups did you have? How many missed assists did you have? How many times did you not get on the ground for the ball? Let's talk about that because that's what college coaches are talking about. You tell my kids this all the time, especially when we go to live periods in front of, like when we played in front of Coach Roy Williams from North Carolina. I told them, listen to me before y'all go out here. Do not go out here trying to stack your points. Play as a team, stay together, do the little things because Roy Williams sitting on that bench over there, he's not at this gym because he's like, oh, I wonder if any of these kids can shoot the basketball. He's in this gym because he knows every single fucking kid in here can shoot the basketball. That's literally what you guys do. He knows every single one of you can put the ball in the hole. What else is in your bag? What else can you do? Can you get on the ground? Are you taking charges? How's your defense? How are you with your teammates? Are you a leader on the floor or are you selfish on the floor? I'm telling you, when I watch Coach Izzo, went to a AAU tournament, and he said that it was an 8:00 in the morning tournament. He walked up and down the courts. He finally got to court 8. He said he wasn't impressed with any of the kids from court 1 all the way to court 8. Got to court 8. He's got a kid out there at 8 in the morning doing the little shit, screaming on defense, hands all over the place, diving on the ground for the ball, being a team player. He said he called his recruitment instantly and said, I want him. I want him. These college coaches, of course, they're looking for a superstar. They're looking for somebody that can put the ball in the hole, of course. But every single one of these kids can put the ball in the hole. So while you're looking to stack the book and you're looking to do all this shit, you look stupid. You look stupid. And the same thing like what he's saying here, this last part, what he just said.
Horry was the guy who affects the game by putting the ball in the basket.
Yeah.
And hit big shots. So he has a legitimate, like you said, argument to be like, man, can I get a play call for me? Can I get like a pick and pop? Can I get some type of play, quick action, where I can get a 3 off? Draymond is a guy that you would never draw up a play to get a post up because he's not a post up player. He doesn't have post skills to score. And he's not a player you would draw up a play to hit a 3 or get a shot because he's never been a high
stuff has to be outside the stack
point shooter or scorer. So I'm confused on what he wants drawn up for him. Maybe he wants a play drawn up for him to make a play because he can do that. He's one of the best point forwards of all time. But I don't know what he meant by that. It just seems so weird because Steve and him, I feel like Steve's really embraced Dre, the whole experience of Draymond, and let him be him and be even though he's never been the first option. Think about this. The second option, the third option, the fourth option. When you talk about the leader of the team, he's been the number one option. To allow that and let that be and fester and grow, you have to give Steve credit for that. And it's worked. They got 4 rings out of it. So it's just weird. I don't know. That was a weird comment to hear because Draymond's such a high IQ person.
And see, Austin was praising Draymond in that. And because Draymond is who Draymond is, and Draymond is who, again, when someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them. Draymond has shown us who he was a long time ago. A long time ago. So the response to Austin from Draymond is exactly what I expected a response from Draymond Green to be. Instead of listening to Austin Rivers praise Draymond for being the player that he in reality is, he would prefer Austin Rivers to come on whoever's podcast this is, on stream or whatever, and lie and glaze him and feed into this delusion that he's this all-star. No, he called you what you are and he praised you for it. But this was Draymond's response. And this is just typical Draymond.
Guys that you usually get into the back and forth with, they become back and forth because it's like one of them like severely tips something this way and the other just like kind of so far down that it kind of pulls you back a little bit. And so speaking of Austin Rivers, I saw he said he's bewildered and it's ridiculous of what I said. And I just find it interesting that a guy who was the 10th pick in my draft, I was 35, who's on his second act, still on act 1. He goes, Draymond, never been a scorer. Austin, you and I averaged the same amount of points in high school. And I say high school because that's when you were at your best. And then in college, he was still good. He was very featured at Duke because NBA careers, should he really talk about my NBA career? I'm still with my first team. He was gone from his first team in 2 years. The guy received the biggest bailout in U.S. history prior to President Trump bailing out the airlines when his dad gave him $42 million. And I tip my hat to Doc. I pray that I can give DJ $200 million or give Deuce $250 million. I pray that I can do that one day. I love how people just go take the 15 seconds that they want to take and make it a headline. But I really enjoyed watching Austin Rivers be bewildered.
Bro, I tell you what. First of all, Draymond Green is so exhausting. He is so that minute 20 was exhausting. It was exhausting because he thinks he's making the point. He thinks he's getting over him, but really he looks like a dumbass. He looks like a dumbass here. And saying one of the things that I can't stand about Draymond Green is I think personally he's in the wrong profession. Nigga, if you want to argue with people, go do that. Be a lawyer. Join the debate. They have debates teams and things like that. You could have done that in college. Could have done that, and that could have been your future or whatever. I think he wants to argue and sit up here on what I'm doing. He wants to sit up here on a podcast. He rather be sitting on that podcast, arguing with people, trying to shame people, make people feel so. Because anytime he sits up on his podcast, it's always something. Typically, because I don't watch his podcast, but anytime it makes its rounds virally, it's off some negative shit. Because Draymond Green is negative. He's negative. So instead of taking the feats that Austin Rivers said that were good about you and speaking factually to the player that you in reality are, you instead attacked him, tried to attack try to call out, I guess, some nepotism type shit between him and Doc and all this kind of stuff with the bailout and all that type of bullshit and blah, 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 blah. Austin Rivers is a good basketball player. He's a good basketball player. I'm not sitting here saying that Austin Rivers is one of the top peakest basketball players, but Austin Rivers is a good player, and he didn't deserve that read down that Draymond tried to give him. However, Austin, of course,
I'll leave you with this
back. Draymond with his response.
On Green.
Let me see. All right, here.
Come on, Draymond. This is ridiculous. Seriously. Ridiculous. But you know what? I'm going to address it because you crossed the line and you are mad disrespectful for whatever reason. You've been around too long. We both were drafted in the same class. The fact that you don't have the wherewithal to do your due diligence and actually understand I was being highly complimentary of you on the Dan Patrick show. But it's you, and I shouldn't be surprised. You always
Should.
act irrationally, emotionally immature.
He does.
And your anger always puts you in hot water. So here I am having to address a video of you belittling my career.
Right.
First off, Draymond, we weren't the same players in high school. I don't care about our numbers being similar. I did it at the national level, at the top level. Hence why I got the Naismith Award, and I got pretty much every award you can think of in high school. I was ranked number 1. You were ranked, I don't know. So cut it out. Next. College, you actually were you actually a really good college basketball player, but it's hard to compare because I was only there for 6 months, something you could never do. Talk about I was, one of the featured guys. No, I was the guy. I led my team in scoring. I was first team All-ACC, freshman player of the year, lottery pick. Stop. Next. NBA, hey, man, you got it, Dre. I mean, listen, I played in the NBA for more than 10 years, more than a decade, but 11 years, but I'm not a Hall of Famer like you. So I'll give you that credit. All right, you got it. But let's peel back that onion and understand why.
Come on, peel it back.
Tiger.
Peel it back. Peel it back.
Okay, you have the delusion, the non-wherethal, the irony of you saying I'm part of the biggest bailout in NBA history. Draymond, you are the luckiest basketball player I think I've ever seen,
Come
especially
on,
in
man.
modern day history.
Come on.
Let's talk about that. You were drafted to a franchise with a Hall of Fame front office, Bob Myers, Hall of Fame coach Steve Kerr, the greatest shooter of all time, and perhaps a top 5 player of all time, Steph Curry, Hall of Famer. One of the greatest shooters, top 5 shooter of all time, another Hall of Famer, Klay Thompson. The Swiss Army knife himself, the guy who could do a little bit of everything on the floor, Andre Iguodala, another Hall of Famer.
Damn, yes, Andre.
Not to mention one of the most lethal scorers of all time and arguably a top 10 player of all time, Kevin Durant, the same guy you chased off because of this. Your mouth.
Exactly, because you talk too fucking
And that's
much.
not even counting the plethora of talent around those guys. The Sean Livingstons, the Barbosas, the Andrew Wiggins, the Jordan Pooles, who you also chased off.
That's crazy.
Cut it out. Draymond, you're the backpack jump shooter. You're the guy that everyone leaves open. No one guards you. There are hours and hours and hours of film of just you being left wide open. In fact, anybody can just YouTube or Google or watch any Draymond game ever, and he's open all game. There are clips of you getting a rebound and just driving in a straight line and just getting a wide open layup because everyone's fanning out to guard the actual talent on the team.
He's not lying.
Talking about Steve Kerr hindered your career. Bro, Steve Kerr made your career. How dare you? Coming at me? Are you kidding me? I wish I could give my son $200 million if I was a coach. Yo, the NBA doesn't give coaching jobs to guys who may or may not sucker punch one of the players and staff. You need to fall back, Dre. Let's just be frenemies.
Now, Draymond is going to reply. I'm sure he's cooking up his reply as we speak. But Austin ate him up right here. Austin ate his ass up right here, man. This was, and he spoke nothing but truth, nothing but facts. Like he said, we can Google it right now, YouTube it right now. Like I said, I watch the Warriors, man. That is for good or bad, that is my team. I'm not gonna hop around. I'm not gonna hop on them because we suck ass, but that is my team. So I can tell you from watching the Warriors, the rebound at the opposite end and straight line to the other end. He's not lying because he's right. The defense has to spread out on a fast break like that. Where's KD? Where's Clay? I'm telling my boys the same thing. Especially like, again, we played on for those of you that don't know, I didn't just coach. This wasn't like rec league. This wasn't like some rinky-dink kids. These were some of the top kids in the state of Oklahoma. I also had 2 of the top kids from Kansas, lower top. They weren't like Grady Dick, which we played against Grady Dick. We played against Chet. We played against Keontae George. Some of those guys that are in the league currently from their class. We played against a lot of those guys. So we were on a high level. Some of my kids are playing college basketball currently, but we were on a high level. So it wasn't like, we were Nike sponsored for one season. We were with an Adidas program for another season. So it wasn't. So when I talk basketball, I like to think I know what I'm talking about. Like I said, we were ranked 3. We were behind Blake Griffin's team, and we were behind a team out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, called PWP, Players with a Purpose. We played those teams regularly. And there's always rivalry stuff. So it's not. So I'd like to think I know what I'm talking about when it comes to basketball and things like that. But when it comes to Dre and stuff like that, I'm telling my guys the same thing. If it's a fast break like that and we're playing a man defense, you need to find the shooters, find those guys. I used to, our defense was our everything. I'm a defensive coach first. I really was an offensive flow type of person. We ran a motion more than I really had plays because our defense was so damn good. It transitioned into our offense. You really didn't even have time to set up defensively on us because once we got a rebound, it was boom, boom. We get that rebound. I got 2 guys flying on the sidelines. I got 1 guy going up the middle with the ball. If we're not hitting these sides and doing like a 3-man weave type of deal. I mean, I'm telling you, you might sleep on those 3-man weaves in practices. It might seem like boring plays, but we used to run the shit out of some motherfuckers on that floor because we were so quick, defensive minded first. And that's the same thing with Dre. Love Dre, defensive minded guy. Love how he plays defense. However, like Austin said, you're just not him. You're not him. You'll never be that guy. And the fact that you went out on Steve Kerr and said what you said about feeling like you were held back and stuff, and then the stuff that you said to Austin, which I can't wait to hear his reply to Austin. But this has been interesting. It's been funny. It's been funny to watch. And again, this is not the first time Dre's done this. I on Instagram, I post on my Instagram story a lot. I'll reshare stories or something that I see on Instagram. And I know I've shared before stuff that Draymond Green has said at the side of his neck about him possibly or thinking that he's an all-star or whatever. Again, you played with all-stars. You might have had some all-star moments in some really big games that gave you this illusion, but you're not them. You're not him. You're not him. Not him. So when Dre replies, I'm definitely we'll watch it. I'll pull it up here. We'll watch it, see what he says. But hats off to Austin. He gave a very good answer to him in the very first time, even though Dre didn't ask for it. There was a question to him where he praised Dre, praised him, and Dre came back and being like Austin started this video, being the typical Draymond Green that we all know him to be. It's Hanny said, Dre doesn't get he was a glorified role player. Yeah, glorified role player. I mean, he's a role player. And again, I think yeah, I mean, role player, everybody has a role on the team, but I don't want to say because Draymond contributed in so many ways, I don't want to simply just call him a role player. But like Barbosa was a role player. Those guys, Barnes, when he was there, I would consider him a role player. But Dre, like I said, he contributes big time. He really does. It just this illusion and this idea that he has. You already got this stink around you with the attitude that you carry on and off the court. Don't make it worse. Don't make it worse. Don't make it worse. I defend you the way I defend Dre sometimes because, again, he's a warrior. But don't make it worse. You already are known for hurting players intentionally. You're known for your attitude, again, on and off the court. You're known to get a technical foul at the first whistle, the first 48 seconds of the game. I mean, you're known to get into it with people in the stands. This is who Draymond is. But don't make it worse by now living under this illusion that you're an all-star and going at Austin Rivers and other players that keep it factually real with what you really are. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Dre. Lawrence Report said, I will give Dre this. He is a legit top defensive player. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like Arthur said, defensive player of the year. Absolutely. You can't take away what he has, but I also can't give him what he doesn't. I can't take away that you are a damn good defensive player. I can't take away that that's why I'm so mad that he wasn't there in 2016. That game that they allowed Cleveland to win and come back from that 3-1. I strongly believe if Draymond Green would have been there in that game, they would have swept LeBron. They'd have swept him. They already had him down 3-0. They would have swept them. But because Dre was disrupting the fuck out of LeBron and them, man. We were so in sync. It was just his mouth. It was his mouth. It was his mouth. If he would have just shut the fuck up, played the game, said whatever you had to say after the whistle, whatever, they would have swept him. They would have swept him. We would have won in 2016. Steph would have 5 rings. Dre would have 5 rings. Clay would have 5 rings. So I can't take away that he is this damn good defensive player, because he is. He's a disruptor. He gets out there. He does what he's supposed to do. But I can't give the nigga that he's an all-star either. Grand Regent said, I definitely think Draymond is good, but his ego is that he thinks he has a Charles Barkley or something. Yeah, he thinks that he's, like I said, an all-star. It said, Cavs was going, no, absolutely not. Man, come on now. Let's be real. Y'all, 2016 was 10 years ago. I understand, but let's be real. Take yourselves back to that. The Warriors were so damn in sync. They were so damn good. They were unstoppable at that time. And then they added KD. This was before adding KD. They had them niggas down 3-0. And if I remember correctly, that game was at home. If I remember correctly, I might be wrong on that. It might have been in Cleveland. But they had them down 3-0. And not only having them down 3-0, one thing, again, I know I keep saying this because, I mean, basketball is basketball. I used to tell my boys, too, hope is a dangerous motherfucking thing to give to a basketball team. Anybody, any team, anybody. You know, let's talk about the nerdy stuff that we talk about. Star Wars. What did the Empire try to crush? Hope of the rebellion. The hope that you can take down the Empire. Them niggas, after they let them come back from that 3-0, you sparked hope. And because you sparked that, you gave them that little spark of hope. They then came back from that 3-1. But they weren't coming back because that hope was crushed. The buses were warmed. The vacations were booked. They were going home. The banners weren't going up. The trophy was going over to the Warriors. They were going home. I don't know what games y'all were watching, but there's no way any of y'all are sitting here telling me that you truly believe that them niggas was coming back from that shit. Had the Warriors. They weren't. The Warriors, what was the score to the final score to that game? I need to see now. Okay. So the Warriors had won. Wait, what? This doesn't make sense. What am I looking at? The Golden State Warriors took a 3-1 lead over the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016 in the finals. Yes. After winning Game 4 on June 10, 2016, scores for the first 4 games were Golden State 104, Golden State 110, 120, Golden State 120. Okay, so I believe was it the third game that he got? I think it was the third game. I don't remember what game it was. I think it was that third game that Dre didn't play. I can't remember. But the score nonetheless is what I came here for. The score was 120-90. Now, again, you had Dre disrupting defensively their entire offense those first 2 games, because the scores those first 2 games, you had the Warriors at 104, you had the Cavs at 89, you had the Warriors at 110, you had the Cavs at 77. Then you have Draymond get his dumb ass set down because he couldn't shut up. Then you have the Cavs at 120 and the Warriors at 90. Come on now. They had them so disrupted. They had them so off their game. They weren't coming back from that. They weren't coming back from that. And if you're saying that, Arthur, to imply that Steph is, again, not one of the greatest players in the world and not only that, won MVP unanimously, which means there wasn't a person in the room that thought otherwise, that he shouldn't. Finals MVPs, he also has those. Iggy, during that time of winning that Finals MVP in 2016, was doing so much for us little wise. Again, I stopped thinking that basketball, I don't know if you play, brother. I don't know if you play or not. Basketball is not about just putting the ball in the hole. There's more to being an MVP than me scoring. I can have 89 points and somebody else be the MVP. Somebody else be the most valuable player. The most valuable player does not simply mean because I'm putting the ball in the hole and I'm doing all these and one ass shit. Iggy was on a different level. Defensively, he was everything we needed next to Dre. He was defensively, he was all over the boards. I remember so many damn putbacks he got. So many times he was at the free throw line. So many times he played some damn good defense and got steals on the ground for the ball. Like, bro, no. So if you're saying that again to box Steph, I think you have an issue with greats because you tried to box Mike too. So if it's an issue with like understanding how GOATs work, that's a personal thing. But Steph is definitely, that's not a good comparison that you made either. Dre hit Bron in game 4 and got suspended game 5. Okay, was that it? Yeah. Was that it? Okay. So yeah. There's that's what it was. There's absolutely no way that Dre should have put himself in that position, gotten sat down, and then not been able to do the game that we needed him in to close that shit out. Yeah, that's two completely different players. So I again, I'm gonna take it. I'm just asking, do you play the game or are you just? And that is, you don't have to play it. You don't have to play it to understand it or anything like that. You don't have to play. I'm just asking, did you play basketball? Those are two different players, two completely different players, two completely different roles. What is LeBron? A good 230, 220, what is LeBron? And what is Steph? Where LeBron can freight train his fucking way through the paint, Steph cannot. Where LeBron is going to bully you, Steph is not. Those are two completely different players. Two completely different players, two completely different styles of play. So I can't say that LeBron, and there is definitely levels of this game and avenues of this game where LeBron is superior to Steph. Absolutely. Absolutely. But there are also levels and aspects of this game where Stephen Curry, Wardell, is superior to LeBron. LeBron and Kyrie scored 41 in game 5. I remember. Don't remind me. I remember. Yeah. LeBron can play any role. There's another reason he's a go. Yeah, brother, you're not telling me anything new. LeBron can play the 1, he can play the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5. Shit, if he wanted to make something up and play the 6, he probably could. He's a freak of nature. He's huge. He's a great pause. He's a great player, phenomenal player. I give LeBron. I'm not a LeBron fan, but I give LeBron his respect. I will never say LeBron's not one of the greatest players ever. But you're not telling me anything new about him being able to play all the positions. But it doesn't take away what I said about Steph. In the comparison to him, Steph is the best shooter, but he don't have the force of LeBron to push through. No. One of Steph's biggest things early on was his ability to get to the rim. That was one of the things that all the sports analysts talked about. It was talked about, by Charles and them. It was talked about by other players. It was talked about in press conference. Steph's inability to be able to get to the basket because he was so small and because he was weak. But he has changed that narrative. I'm not saying that he's this, he's this driving force like Kyrie, where he's about to boom, get to the basket like that. But Steph can get to the basket. Steph can be shifty and still get to the hole. And he's transformed his game so that he has that ability to where he's kind of put that, shut that up to where I can pull this and shoot you in the eye if you want me to, or I can do some shit, get around you and go to the hole and still do some crazy ass fucking shot and it go in. Yeah. Yeah, that was one of his issues for sure. Steph versus Boston 2022 was legit, though. Awesome player. Yeah, Steph is great. Yeah, the game was wild, Johnny. Wild indeed. That was the greatest series I ever seen. But Darius, you correct. Dre did cost y'all the chip. I'm telling you, I will never not remember, because I was at homie's. He had a get together. We were eating, like, eating and watching the game. And I will never forget that entire time. I was so mad. I drove over there mad. I left the last game mad because I knew we weren't going to have Dre. And I knew that the possibilities of losing that game were so high, and the possibilities of giving them niggas hope and the momentum of coming back was even higher because it was LeBron and Kyrie. You had them already down. You had the fans down. You had them down. I used to tell my boys, when you got your foot on their necks, suffocate them. If we are relentless and we're playing a full 48 minutes from that first whistle to that last, we are playing. So we are in your face on defense. Man, there's no way. I miss basketball sometimes. Sometimes I want to go back. Sometimes I do want to go back. But man, we needed him. We needed Dre. We needed Dre. And Dre cost Sean more chips when he pushed KD away. Nigga, you ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. Boy. I used to love the position that OKC is in is a position that's all too familiar as a Warriors fan. Sitting back bored. Is anybody gonna give us any competition? Blah 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 blah. Can we and I thought that was about to be an ongoing feeling for years to come. Because I just knew KD is one of the bros. He ain't going nowhere. We got him locked. Then Draymond. Hurricane Draymond. Ran that nigga off. How are you not a LeBron fan? He's a phenomenal player and has been doing it longer than I've been alive. Let's see. LeBron entered the league. What was that? Was that 06? It's LeBron 06? Class of 06, I think. 05, 06, something like that. I can't remember. I had those posters. I'm not a LeBron fan because of other things that he does on the court. I think he's one of the biggest actors. I think that he is a crybaby on the court. I think that LeBron flops sometimes. I think off the court, I think LeBron's phenomenal. You never hear a bad thing about him. I think LeBron's phenomenal off the court. Some of the things he's done in Akron, some of the school thing that he did, I think LeBron's phenomenal. But I don't care for his game on the court. I think he is a phenomenal player. He's one of the greatest players ever. But if it's one of my teams going against LeBron, I'm rooting hard. 03. Was it 03? Damn. I was gonna say 03 first, but I was thinking, am I making that nigga too old? Was it 03? Okay, shit. LeBron on the juice. LeBron, Wade, Bosh, and Melo, all top 5 picks that draft. Everyone flops stairs. It's the NBA. Look at your home team. Hey. Don't link me to OKC. I'm not an OKC fan. Well, I don't want to say that. I guess I'm a fan because they are my home team, but I don't look for them. Like, I wanted them to beat the shit out of Dylan Brooks just because I don't like Dylan Brooks and all the shit Dylan Brooks was talking before the game and the shit that he's talked about Steph and how he intentionally tries to hurt Steph and shit like that. I don't like Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks is a dirty player. Don't like him. So I wanted them to beat the hell out of Dylan Brooks. So I pay attention to the OKC, but I'm not thundering up over here. We're not turning on the game at 7 over here. I try to avoid, we're not going downtown or anything like that. I avoid downtown when they have games. We're not doing none of that. No. Say it loud. Darius, LeBron is greater than Steph. It's facts. LeBron is greater than Steph in aspects of his game. That's a fact. But Steph is greater than LeBron in aspects of his game, and that's a fact as well. It's crazy how much Shea gets to the line. Is it crazy, though? Is it crazy? I now that's something I do see. I see a lot of that, the stuff saying that people are saying it's crazy how Shea gets. Is it crazy? Or is he just drawing that contact? Is he just drawing the contact, or is it really that crazy? I know what y'all are going to think. Was you ever going to cover the Meg and Clay topic? I was never going to cover the Megan and Clay topic. I was just going to, if I was ever going to cover the Megan and Clay topic, it was just going to be covering this. And since we're talking basketball, I'll go ahead and I'll show it. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find this. It's got to be up here as like one of the top videos, right? Oh, that girl that was saying that that British chick, where's she at? Damn, where is she at? Oh, here she is.
Before Meg the Stallion. We didn't know Stephon Diggs. Before we didn't know Clay.
Okay, this was ignorant as fuck too. God. This was the only thing I was going to talk. If I was ever going to cover that, because I didn't give a damn if they broke up. I thought they were great together. Didn't give a damn that they broke up. I thought he played in her face if he did cheat on her, though, because that woman was trying to make. I mean, if you follow Meg, and I do, I follow her on Instagram. So she's posting on her stories and stuff that, you know, she was cooking on things. I think she cooked their Thanksgiving. She cooked Thanksgiving for them, for his family. So Thanksgiving, she sits with his mom at games. She said, you know, and then she, of course, what she posts on Instagram dealing with his mood swings. Of course, there's two sides to every story, but I think he did say he cheated. I think he confessed to that. So I think he played in that face if he cheated. But this right here was the only thing that I was ever going to talk about in regards to that, was this crazy British girl here talking about some damn nobody knew Klay Thompson. Girl, shut the
Klay Thompson before Meg the Stallion. We didn't know Stephon Diggs before Cardi B. And while these guys have more money than these girls have social and global influence. Meg the Stallion made Klay a global star, whether he wants to admit or not. These men like to use these women for come-ups and for social status, because, like, don't ever get it twisted, girls. Social currency is still a currency. If you are well known in your circle and you are well respected, a guy can use that for social come-up, because being with you makes him look good. If Meg the Stallion is dating him, he must be popping. He must be giving guys. You need to be very, very careful, because guys are users just like girls. I would even say more. A guy knows when he has a woman that he can use to make himself look better. And I think sometimes the insecurity that we have in ourselves do not allow us to see what we are actually worth, what our currency is. But a man can see it. A man can see your value economically before you. And it does not even need to be money. It's status, it's reputation. When you're around his friends, how does you standing next to him make him feel and look? But because a lot of us are insecure, a lot of us don't see ourselves the way the outside sees us. That's why a guy can pick you and you could be like, oh my God, he picked me. He's a money man. He's this. No, he picked you because you have status, because you have social currency, and because you're that.
She's funny. She was the only thing I was ever going to talk about in regards to their whole breakup, because I thought her video was absolutely, like Arthur just said, delusional. She's out of her fucking mind. I get what she's trying to say. Don't get me wrong. Meg is Meg. But just because you don't know who Klay Thompson is, doesn't mean that Klay Thompson, Stephon Diggs, and these other guys aren't known around the world. They are global superstars. They're global athletes. What are you talking about? What? Just because they play in the States does not mean that they're not known globally. Is Ronaldo not known globally? Messi not known globally? Brady not known globally? Now, granted, I named some superstars. Clay's a superstar. Currently, Stephon Diggs is a superstar. What? She's out of her mind. She's out of her mind. She's talking about their social currency. Like Clay need, like what is Clay looking for socially that he doesn't already have? Another reason not everybody needs a microphone. Clay is also kind of like he does shit. He parties as you see on it. Again, if you follow these people, I follow him on Instagram. You see some of the stuff he posts. He does go out, but he's also very much to himself. He also posts a lot of like him just fishing, wanting to be by himself. What social status would Klay Thompson possibly be grasping for? What? So yeah, she's out of her mind. She's out of her mind. Like what is she talking about? Like she know how big some of, and this is where I'm agreeing with Arthur again. The biggest athletes are bigger than the biggest artists these days. Athletes are huge. One, it's huge because you don't just have the AAU basketball global market. You have AAU football, you got AAU baseball, you got AAU track, you got AAU, all that kind of stuff, amateur athletic union, all that kind of stuff for building up the future NBA, NFL, whatever the fuck. So these kids, as young as third grade, know who these athletes are. Because when we go to tournaments, depending on the type of tournament it is, you'll have ages third grade on up. Now, we're not all playing at the same gym, of course, but sometimes there are some times where we would be at a game and there might be a third or fourth grade team out there. And it's not these third graders are at the YMCA. These aren't your third grade kids from the Y. These aren't your third grade kids down the street at the rec. These are some dogs out there. These are some little niggas that's really about it, that eat, sleep, shit, dream, repeat basketball. So if these little guys out here know all of these athletes before, I would argue, before they know, like I'm sure they know, like, you know, some hip hop stars like NBA, because that's a part of their generation stuff, Future, all that stuff, all those people. I don't know a lot of new folks like that, so don't get me going. But these kids know these people. They know them. Like, so, like, why is she sitting here saying like that Klay Thompson's not needed? She better Google the Thompsons. His daddy was famous before he was famous. Like, what is she talking about? Oh, that was the only thing I was ever going to talk about Chi-Town in regards to it. She can say that about Stephon Diggs, but not Klay. I could say that. I could see that. But I would still argue Stephon Diggs is still somewhat of a star. Damn, both WAP rappers got cheated on by ballers. Backstairs 4-year-olds even know. Yes, they do, man. These kids are like in tune with sports. Sports is, I mean, if you're a young kid, right? Really, I mean, their sports is consuming for a lot of. Let me give a better example. I can give an example for myself with AU basketball again. So our off season, if we really had one, because I had 3 teams. So I had my I'll show you guys this. I had let me see if I can find it first. I had my actually I can find it. I can just go this. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, power. My 2022 boys. I had my 8th graders. So I had my middle school team, my freshman team, and my sophomore team. So I kind of tried to keep it all. I always tried to have a team below so that when the next team went on, I just would drop down, recruit another team, and keep the 3. And it wasn't just myself. I had my assistant coaches and stuff like that too, which I had my assistant coaches. Some of them were head coaches. of my other teams when I wasn't there. Like I did my 8th grade team, but I wasn't there a lot. We all played in the same tournaments, but I wasn't there a lot because my older teams was where I was at. They were the ones that needed me to be with them. So these were, let's see, this was one of my groups. I don't think I can play the music though. I think there's music behind this. This was my group. Like this was the group that one of my favorite groups. I don't think they were my best group, but they were one of my favorite groups for sure. Their season ended with COVID, unfortunately. That's when I stopped coaching. I didn't coach anymore after that. I think we played a few games once they started opening gyms, letting us come back and stuff like that. But it was weird. We were masked. You couldn't have more than 2 people in there. Actually, at one point in time, you couldn't have anything but the coaches and the players in there, which really didn't change. I mean, win's a win. Doesn't matter. You don't need people there. But it was a little different. A little different. It wasn't really interesting. But yeah, so these were my guys, man. Oh no, can't play it. These were my guys. This is one of my kids from Kansas. So anyway, I brought that up to say we were practicing. So I was with these guys. I mean, it was for me. Not every coach is like this, but for me, I wasn't just coach. If my kids, and also I had, as you can see, predominantly black kids, so it wasn't a lot of parent involvement at all. I think I had maybe 2 or 3 parents that were invested parents that would help get kids to games when they could and things like that. But at the end of the day, it was by and large myself that was getting the boys where they needed to be. When we went out of state, it was just me and the boys. I would rent a Tahoe. We would get in it, or Suburban rather. We'd get in it, and we would go wherever we were going, unless we flew, which we only flew once, and that was to Vegas. So when I'm with them, and we practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Games were Friday, sometimes Friday evening, Saturday, Sunday, depending on the tournament. If it was at a state tournament, we would normally leave Friday, that Friday afternoon or something, and try to get down there that night. And typically I would try to have them not schedule us on a Friday night, because after the travel, my boys, I didn't want them getting out there because it's just not fucking fair. But sometimes, fair's just doesn't matter. So sometimes we had to play regardless of just being on the road or however many hours. I know when we went to Indiana, long drive, we had to get off out of that car and go play that night, and then wake up the next morning and play. So you've got they were with me those 3 days during the week. Not only those 3 days during the week, then they would be with me all weekend. So for my Kansas boys, the original plan when I recruited them was supposed to be meet me halfway. Your parents would meet me halfway as far as like a certain town in Oklahoma that's not too far from the Kansas borderline. Well, that happened a few times, but then that eventually stopped. And when that stopped, it turned into me going all the way to Wichita to pick those boys up and then bring them back, then go get the boys that I was already having to pick up, that are here in Oklahoma that needed rides and things like that, to then going to either wherever we were going out of state to that game or whatever. So I would come, let's say we were going to Texas. I would go to Kansas. I would pick them up. Then I'd come back. I'd pick my guys up that are in Oklahoma that I'm giving a ride to, which was, again, if we're going out of state, normally it was all of them. Pick all of them up. Then we would gas back up, head to Dallas or wherever we were going, Houston or wherever we were going in Texas, if we were going to Texas at that time. And then once the tournament's over, I take everybody home individually. Then I head back to Kansas, take them. Then I come back to Oklahoma, return the rental car, have my ride come and pick me up, take me to my car, get ready to start my next work day. We have practice on Tuesday. It is now Monday. We go over Tuesday, practice, Wednesday, practice, Thursday, practice. We typically, again, had a tournament that coming weekend. We repeat the cycle. And that was typically what it was all the time. Typically what it was all the time. Arthur with a super set, I'd give you the best player 25 and 8, and I can play a little. Maybe so. Maybe, Arthur. Maybe. Yeah, these were the days, man. Sometimes I want to go back. Sometimes I do, but then I think about all the work. If I was to go back, I think I've said this before. If I was to go back, it would have to be I wouldn't be doing none of that. I wouldn't be doing anything but coaching. I want to show up to the games and just coach. To me, this was my best team. My 2021 boys right there. That's my cousin right here. And then these boys were phenomenal, man. This was such a good group. Such a good group. Yeah, good group of kids. Good group of kids. I was trying to find where I was after one of our games. I'll let you guys hear what I told them after one of. Oh, here it is. Here you go. You can listen to this.
If we can coach Everett, you got to walk through the door with Everett. If we can coach Everett, every damn team would be phenomenal. Us coaches, we cannot coach Everett. That's something you got to have. You got to have that already. So when you walk into the gym and you know, okay, there's coaches sitting sideline. There's eyes watching me. You have to be different. Not just different. You got to be different. You got to go in there, and if your shot's not falling, you can't be like, oh, the shot's not falling. So now I'm crying. Now I don't really want to play. Now my effort's not there. No. If I'm a college coach and I'm sitting here watching y'all, okay, I've heard about the kid. His shot's not falling. Now what else is he going to do? How are you going to beat adversity? How are you going to look adversity in the face and say, okay, my shot's not falling, so let me contribute to my team in a different way. Let me go pull down 12 rebounds. Let me get on the ground for the ball. Let me take about 4 charges. Let me do the little things that seem to go on unnoticed, but those little things are big-time plays in games like that we just had. Those little things are big-time plays. We've got to learn that we've got to sometimes put in big-time plays. It's not always about putting the ball in the hole. How many times have I told y'all, when these college coaches come, they know that every kid in here can put the ball in the hole. They want to see what else you can do. Everybody's always talking about, oh, I got this in my bag. What else is in your bag? What else is in your bag? So I want to see that from you guys. I want to see the defensive efforts, because weekend after weekend, we skate by to the Final Four of pure athleticism. But when we get there on defense, we are lazy. Capital L-A-Z-Y. Capital all the way across. Lazy on defense. We have got to do a better job on defense. Why? Because defense wins what? Championships. Offense sells what? We got to do a better job, gentlemen. You want to win this thing, or you just want to skate by to the Final Four again and be comfortable with Final Four? What do you want? Comes down to what you want. I can want it all day. I can want it till I'm blue in the face. There's another damn board gone. But it means nothing unless you go out there and put the effort in. All right? This is a good win. I don't want to diminish the win. It's a good win. But let's take the mistakes we made in this game and let's put them in the next game so we can blow every team that steps on the floor with us out.
Yeah, those were the days, man. Those were the days. I mean, I loved it. I loved the constant on the go, constant on the move. One of my biggest regrets of it, though, and I don't even like calling it a regret because I don't really regret anything from that time, but I gave my entire 20s to AAU basketball and my boys, who I love dearly. And I guess what I want, like the boys, there were things I was after too. I had spoken with I didn't at first. I had spoken with a couple of different high schools to be the head coach at, and some things fell through, and then other offers on other things. I know I had tried. There were so many things, different things on personally on my end. I was trying to set up for myself, but I gave my entire 20s to AAU basketball, my entire 20s, and there were things I missed out on. There were things that I wish I, got to do that I didn't get to do, and things like that. And now I'm older, I'm not in my 20s, so. But I would love to go back to Cornelius. Cornelius is here. What's up? Cornelius said, "Stairs his doppelganger, not him. His hat's off." And then he said, "No beard." Yeah, no, those were baby face days. The baby face days. Sometimes I think about, man, would I ever cut all this off and go back to the baby face? I don't think so. But yeah, the baby face days. The Arthur said that he liked the passion. Yeah, man. Like I said, it was everything. It was everything. It was I loved this shit. I loved this shit. We did the baby face. We did this family, we did stuff. We weren't just doing stuff in basketball. I made sure I kept my kids busy because the biggest thing was ending up, we don't want them to end up on the streets. That was the biggest thing. Biggest thing. That's why when we started playing for Nike and I met coaches that I'm still friends with today. 2 of them I'm still friends with today. They were older than me. I was in my 20s. I think when we got pulled in by Nike, I think I was 24 or 25. I was one of those. I was 24 or 25. And shocked the fuck out of me because that's what you go for. That's what you're after. You're after the sponsorship. You're after, a shoe deal or whatever. Now, we didn't get the entire deal. They paid for our uniforms, our bags, our shoes. The boys didn't like the shoes. I didn't like the shoes either. But you had to do what you had to do, and we were grateful. We were grateful for it. It turned out not being the experience we wanted. However, sometimes what you want is not always good for you. It turned out not being the experience we wanted. We still had a good season, but that particular season, we were doing everything. We were more, stuff we were doing already, but we were doing everything. We did we met with families during the holiday season and we would do gifts. This particular family that we met with there, they, parents had just divorced. Mom was living with, I think, grandmother or something like that. And they had no money. She had to sell, I forget the whole story, what it was, but we made Christmas happen for them. I think this was that video. So I tried to keep my boys busy because, again, my kids were black. I think we had every now and then in and out. Every now and then, here and out, we would have a white kid on the team or something like that, and there wasn't nothing wrong with the white kids that we had because most of the white kids we had was some damn shooters. That's one thing I used to tell my kids all the time: stop underestimating these white boys. Every time we play a white team, they would try to size them up before the game or what. I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that shit. These white boys will come in here and put a mud hole in your ass. They do not give a fuck. They will shoot the leather off the ball. They're not as they. One thing about white kids is they don't have the natural athleticism. Sorry, that might offend some people, but they don't have the natural athleticism that a lot of these black kids do. So they have to work a little bit harder. And in that work comes the ability to shoot, because I'm going to spend hours upon hours upon hours upon hours with that shooting gun and shoot your ass. And that's what a lot of them white boys, some of the white boys that we brought onto the team could do. Not just shoot. A lot of them could play though too. So yeah, we took them to like this incredible pizza thing. Spent time with them, gave them gifts, paid for all their stuff. And this was money that was donated, that I had talked to a lot of different people and got money donated so that we could make this happen for them. So again, I tried to keep my boys busy because it was bigger than basketball. The goal, obviously, the ultimate goal was to get them to the next level. And I can't sit here and tell you that every single one of these boys went to the next level. Some of them, unfortunately, do have kids currently. Some of them, unfortunately, have stopped playing. Some of them are still in, still at it, still playing, still, still trying. But I can say that none of them, unlike the boys we played against, none of them went to the level that they all dreamt of playing at. I haven't had any of my kids, and in the 13 years that I've coached AAU basketball, none of my kids have gone to the NBA level. I've had kids at the, play D1 basketball. One of the top kids that I had in the state, Dayton Holman was one of the top kids in the state. Nobody could, and one of the things about it too, when I had Dayton, I'm rambling at this point, but one of the big things about it when I had Dayton was because he was no bullshit, one of the top kids in the state. But I met Dayton when I started coaching him I coached at a middle school here in Norman. And that's where I met Dayton, and I literally when I saw him play for the first time, I was like, oh my God, who is this kid? Where is he from? This kid is phenomenal. Never seen this kid before. I literally built the team around Dayton. I said, it's literally, I'm building the team around. I took him every time I would go recruit a kid. Now their team, arguably, a lot of people will say that have seen them play. That was my best team. Their season, they won 127 games. They lost 18. It was phenomenal. The stuff that they were doing, that was their very first season together. So I built the team around him, and we were recruiting the top kid from every school. Well, not from every school, the schools that I was going to watch. And I didn't always get a yes from every kid that I talked to, but I was talking to, when you're talking to kids, or when you're recruiting, you want to go talk to the top kids, because it's about stacking your team. You want to be able to compete. So I had some of the top kids in the state. I didn't have obviously you had some of them at Team Griffin, you had some of them at PWP, had some of the top kids in the state, and they were tough. That kid, Dayton, though, the one I brought up, he, the highest level that he played at was under Mike Bibby. Mike Bibby coached him after we were done, our team and everything like that. He played for Bella Vista. It's kind of like he played against the Balls, I can tell you that. What was their school they went to? What was the private school the Balls went to? I don't remember, but that was the highest level I think that any of my kids had ever reached. Now, I've played against Keontae George's in the league. I've coached against Grady Dick. I talked to Grady. I met Grady when Grady was in the 6th grade, playing, because we used to play, the team he played for in Kansas was Kansas players, but then he went on to play for, damn, what was the name of that team? Run GMC. I think he went on to play for Run GMC, and they were a sponsored big team. But me and Grady had talked before and gotten to know each other, friends on social media and things like that. I like Grady. Grady is a damn good basketball player. I kind of always knew Grady was going to be one to make it. Chino Hills. Thank you, Arthur. Chino Hills. That was it. Kind of knew that Grady was going to be one of the ones to make it. Again, Chet, who plays for the Thunder, not this group, but the other group I was talking about, they played against him. There's a couple other people in there that Jalen Wilson, didn't play against Jalen Green, but seen a lot of those kids, that are in the league. We saw them play. We were all went to a lot of the same tournaments and things like that. We'd see them play, like RJ Hampton. RJ Hampton during his AAU days was insane. You don't hear shit about RJ Hampton now, but insane. Some of those kids were great, man. So yeah, I miss those days. I miss being in the gym. I miss traveling. But if you were to again hand me those keys to do today, I don't know that I take them. And I've been asked. People have asked me to, come coach, do it one more time. I just had some people telling me the other day, Darius, do it just one more team. Man, it's kind of exhausting. Like I said, I would have to just coach. I'm just coaching, sure. But if I'm doing fundraisers and picking up and renting cars and all that, no. I was in my 20s. I had a lot more energy that I do not have now, nor patience. And I'm very strict too on my kids. Very strict. I'll show y'all one more thing. I'll let y'all see me get a technical foul and get thrown out of the game. And then I'll get out of here because we've strayed and just are now just chilling. But sometimes that's all right. We don't have to always talk about. Let me tell my cat to shut up. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. Sometimes we can just chill. It doesn't have to always be the topics. Once the topics are done, just dip. No. That's something I was talking about with the boys. It's about building relationships, and even with the audience, with you guys, it's about building a relationship. Let me see if I can find this. Let me see. Yep, this is it. Y'all want to see me get kicked out? Now, I don't remember exactly what happened. I remember everything. I do remember this weekend. I was very, very, very upset with my boys. Very upset. I was upset because this is a tournament that I have never won. And I have played in it 5 times. This was the 5th. And I've made it to the final 3. I've made it to the championship. Never won. Never walked away with any type of nothing. Nothing but a thanks for your 500 and thanks for coming safe travels home. And I explained that to this group. This was my last group. I explained that to them. I was like, guys, listen, been here, blah, 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 blah. You guys are this, you're good, you're blah, 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 blah. Let's go in here. If you guys want to give coach anything, give coach this tournament. Give me this tournament, please. Anyway, no, we didn't. I think after our second game, they allowed a team to come back on us. And we got instantly. It's not some of these tournaments is like some of these tournaments you can lose a game and then still make it to the championship. Some of these tournaments, it was you lose, you're instantly in the constellation bracket. And for me, once we're in the constellation bracket, it's not as if it's still not, games. We're still not there. We're still not competing because we were. But it's like what we practice for, $500 gone because these tournaments aren't cheap. $500, $600. Vegas was $900. This shit ain't cheap. And that's just gone because y'all want to get out here and fuck around. But this right here, I think if I remember correctly, my post player got thrown to the ground or something like that. And I think they called it on him and they weren't telling me what the call was. And I think I kept asking. I think I got sick of asking.
I don't know. It keeps dropping down the battery.
I am going to enter stage right. Now, the white ref walking over here, me and him had been going at it all game. There I am.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, we have been going at it all game. But see, a lot of these refs, you see them over and over again. He's not, he wasn't new. I had known him from previous tournaments. These are traveling referees, especially in Texas, because this was in Texas. That's my sister's father coming over to get me as the director there, and the gray is saying, hey, somebody needs to get him because he's out here. Hey, listen, it got serious, man. Sometimes I would get a technical foul just to get a technical foul because my boys were like dead asleep, you know, and I'd be like, okay, listen, I get it's 8 a.m. I'm awake. I'm here. Let's play. Let's play. If I got to get a technical foul to wake y'all up, let's do it. Let's play. But yeah, no, man, this was these were good times. Good times. Great memories. Just don't know if I want to go back. Some good coach. Everybody should definitely get back into. Well, thank you. I should, but oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The guys that I used to coach with, the older guys at Nike Pro Skills, when I coached with them, they used to upset me because I was like I said, I was like 24, 25. They would upset me because they would be like, you know, talking about money all the time, talking about, well, if we do this, I need to get paid for this, or I need to get paid for that, or da. I'm thinking to myself, are we not out? This is what I would say at 25. Are we not out here for the boys? Are we not out here to do da, you know, giving up our time for something that's bigger than us, and you know, all this kind of stuff. And I still feel that way, but I also feel where the niggas is coming from. I didn't at the time. I did not at the time. At 25 years old, with the fire I had under me to coach and just ready every practice, every game, every da. All we talked about was basketball. You couldn't tell. Money was not on my mind. I was not interested in, like, if you wanted to pay me to coach, cool, but I wasn't seeking it. I wasn't like, oh, I got to get paid to do this, or I got to get paid to do that. And if we didn't have the money, I was going to find a way to get the money for my boys, to get them to be able to experience the shit that, you know, they got to experience. I mean, we went to a lot of different places that a lot of these boys, their first time with me was in a limousine. Their first time with me was on a plane. I was a lot of their first time doing anything because they never got out. They've never been anywhere. So I tried to make it an experience for all of my kids, man. I really did. So it was about them. Loved my boys and all that stuff. So thank you guys for sitting listening to me ramble on about basketball and those good old days. All right. I'm, like I said, I'm going to try to be live around the same time that I was live tonight for now on. I think I'm going back to that. And again, I'm trying. I did message Corey to see if, you know, she did message me back. Well, Corey may be back. I didn't know she texted me back. Corey may be back. So tomorrow when you see me, or sometime this week, or maybe next week when you see me, depending on I know where she is, and I need to go to her house and probably help her set up the camera stuff, reset it up, because last time I was over there, I don't think she had that stuff set up. So you may see Corey. For those of you that don't know Corey used to be one of my co-hosts. So you may see Corey. But until then, again, if you like what you saw here tonight, go ahead and tell a friend. Have more people come in, and tell a friend to subscribe, like this video. It helps us out. I appreciate Battery and Arthur for the supers. I appreciate everybody else that was just engaging in conversation. It really means a lot. For the ones that stayed and hung out and chatted, means a lot. I appreciate it. Add more women. I agree with you, Cornelius. If I could have Tina on here 24/7, I would. I love Tina. I love streaming with Tina. I think me and Tina bounce so good off of one another. And I love streaming with Chill too. I think Chill and I bounce really good off of one another, even when we are not agreeing with one another. I think Chill and I are pure cinema. However, Chill's schedule just does not align with mine all the time. He works in the mornings, and I think like I said, I'm going to try to do my work that I do in the mornings from now on, instead of trying to do it at night. Because, you know, when we would finish a Pantheon stream, I would typically go get work done. No, I don't want to work at night any longer. So I'm going to try to do what I did today, do it in the morning, get my work done, and then hang out and have everything else I got to do. So Chill's my schedule just doesn't align at the moment. And I know he's really into going to the comic book store and spending a lot of time there and getting the shorts and everything made. He's invested in the Dakota Incident, which you guys should all check out. If you have not checked that out, go check Chill and the Dakota Incident out, and some of those shorts that he's done on his TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, all under Chillmonger with 2 R's. So yeah, we're not Chill and I just don't have the time, but I think we're cinema. I'll forever say that. I think we are cinema. Even when he pisses me off to no end, to where I'm over here fuming, I think we're pure cinema. And he's a very good friend, Just so you guys all know, to give him even more props, this is his platform. This is his StreamYards that I'm on. Chill is gracious enough and nice enough, and so much of a really, again, a good friend. We spent hours behind the scenes talking. Yeah, it's like a brother to me. I love Chill. So this is his platform. He allows me to use it, and he's nice enough to do it. So you guys go subscribe to Chill if you're not. So maybe see me with Corey. You'll see me on Thursday with Chill and Marcus. That's every Thursday for the Brilliant Pantheon streams that I think are going really good. I think they're going really good, and I look forward to Thursdays all the time with those two. It's always fun, always a good time. So yeah, like, subscribe, share with your friends. What was the last thing Cornelius said here? Tired of hearing about the niggas. He said, no, but kind of for real, and add an Asian and a gay dude too. You know what? I've thought about the latter part of that. Or the former part of that, rather. Is that how you say that? The latter is the former is okay. No, the latter part of that. I thought about the latter part of that, adding a gay guy or gay girl or something like that. And the only reason is it's more perspectives, it's more conversation. You have that's why I like having Tina and some of the girls here, because it's a female's perspective. You're getting this. See so many different perspectives. If I had it my way, when I originally started, that was my plan. I know I need to get off here. We keep rambling and chatting and all that kind of stuff. When I originally started, for those of you that were here for when Planet Fanatics originated, it was myself. That was the idea. It was supposed to be different perspectives, several different points of view. It was myself. It was Trey. It was Cody. It was Q. It was Kellen. It was those guys, and it was all and Trey. I miss Trey. If I could get anybody back, I would love to have Trey back. And the reason being is because I thought Trey, when he spoke, Trey could have ran the show without me being there. If I would have missed ever, he could have easily ran the show and easily hosted. He had great timing. He had great things to say. The conversation was good. He was knowledgeable on topics. And that was another thing. That was another aspect on it. Having people on the panel that were knowledgeable in topics that I wasn't. Trey was knowledgeable in everything anime. I mean, he knows everything about anime. He loves anime. So that was, another part of it. And Cody, what he brought to it, what he brought to the table, what Q was bringing to the table, we all brought something different. And that was the original plan, was supposed to have that. I don't mind doing it by myself. I don't. I think I've gotten messages from some people that have told me it runs smoother when I'm by myself or things like that. I feel like I'm a bit more in control when it's just me. But at the same time, like I said, I do like having people sometimes to bounce off of. I like having, if I had it my way, it would be a panel. If I had it and when I say a panel, it would be a panel that's in the same room, where we're all in the same room, because when it originated, that's how it was. We were all in the same room. We weren't, and I wish that but you live and you learn. Again, I don't play well in sandboxes with everybody. And that was something, that transpired with. So now I'm still very good. I've been friends with Trey since second grade. I've known Trey since elementary. I've known Cody since middle school. Kellen was the one that I had just recently met through Trey. So you can imagine that, again, not playing well in the sandbox with everybody that doesn't know your personality and you don't know theirs, and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. And it just, things happen. Then it came down to just the black folks. It was just Corey, me, and Q. And then they got busy. Then I moved and all that kind of stuff. So, but if I could have it my way, I'd have a panel. That's why I like Thursdays. And I haven't reached out to anybody since I talked about this with you guys the last time, but once a month or once every other week is what some of the ones I have talked to about it kind of agreed to. I am working on trying to do a once a month or once every other week, like 10-person panel on StreamYards where it's like me. If I could get Dre Mac, if I can get Tina, if I can get Blue, Marcus, other people that I haven't rubbed elbows with, I would like to enter into other Black spaces. And I'm trying to get, that's the idea. Sorry. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. That's really the idea, trying to get Black creators all on one space here to do a panel and just talk about some of the stuff we already talk about individually on our channels, but together. I think that would be such a big success. And the way I've laid it out to everybody, it would be a success for all of us individually, because you would have viewers that have either not subscribed to you or never seen you before, that would then see and hear your perspective and maybe like what you say, subscribe. It helps everybody, and then we'd be growing our audience that way. And then doing a show like that, you'd have very, very good clippable moments that could go viral on TikTok or shorts or whatever. So it's just something that I do want to do with everybody, and I've talked to a few people about it. I need to talk to some more people about it, but I think that'd be a really fun, good stream to do once every other week or once a month with some Black creators. And again, I want to enter into other Black spaces that have creators that I haven't met, that I would like to vet obviously first and bring on and have that going. So I'm working on that. I could work harder, but I'm working on it. So anyway, appreciate you guys again listening to the ramblings, listening to me talk. Chi-Town last thing here, he said, this stream is gonna do me well for replay for tomorrow morning. Well, I'm glad that I could help. So you guys like, subscribe. I gotta go get him because he won't shut the fuck up. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. See you guys all in the very next video. Peace out. Thank you for being here. It means a lot.
Thank you for being a friend. Oh, yeah. Travel down the road and back again. Hey, so we started from the bottom, now we're here, girl. Oh, yeah. This is my part right here. Ooh, if I did everyone, the biggest gift, the biggest. Yeah, thank you for being my friend. Oh, yeah. Hallelujah.